right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Harlan Events Center at Ramada Field in Grand Island, Nebraska, getting set for Nebraska Siege and Eau Claire Axemen. Yes, Axemen had a tough one last week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then Siege cruising right along with 2-0. It's Josh Salmon and Luke McCarg along with you. Luke, look at these two teams. This should be a team that defends really well against a team that throws very well.
Yeah, very, very good passing team in Eau Claire, and like you said, one of the best defenses in the league. In fact, the best defense by points against per game. These Siege are really stout up front, and they put pressure on the quarterback really well. That's two strengths for both of these teams, putting pressure on the quarterback. So it's going to be tough for those guys behind the line of scrimmage, getting the ball off in time, and that's going to be a big storyline to watch throughout the game.
Siege come into this one averaging 48 points a game, and for the Axemen, it's 31 points a game. But the defense, again, Siege leads with 8 sacks to the 6 of Eau Claire. And you look at points, penalties allowed. Well, a lot of yards allowed per penalties for the Axemen, and not so much for the Siege. So that might come down to it too. Had some penalties, but the Siege have the lowest percentage of yards given away on penalties all season long. And so if you're going to have penalties, you want to give as few yards as possible.
Yeah, it's very big. Another thing to watch for this game, the Axemen are the worst in the league in red zone efficiency. They're only 1 for 8 inside the 10-yard line, so it's very important that the Axemen are able to capitalize on opportunities, and that was the big reason why they lost last week. They had every chance to win the game. They were up with 5:32 by 4. They had the ball on the 5, couldn't punch it in. Diamonds go ahead and take the lead, and they had the first ball inside the 5 again and couldn't convert, so they're going to have to do a better job of that tonight.
All right, take a look at our key players today. We're going to first start with Eau Claire, Axemen, and the quarterback. You got to go right to him. It is going to be Malik Galliard. Galliard just does a nice job from South Dakota State School. He is a guy that averages 39 yards a game. He's passed for 7 touchdowns, but he has had 6 interceptions, and so that's something to key in on. Yeah,
big thing for Malik Gaylord. He's got all the arm strength and mobility in the world. Can he throw the ball accurately tonight? That's going to be key for him.
And so see what the Axemen can do here against this very tough Siege defense. And, well, on the other side, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good night for Caleb Lowe as well. If he can keep doing what he does, he's passed for 281 yards, 7 touchdowns, just 1 interception on the season for him. His passing completion rate is 63.5%.
Yeah, that's the big difference with Caleb Lowe. Kind of the opposite of Gaylord, not quite as mobile, doesn't run the ball as much, but he makes great decisions with the ball. He's poised in the pocket. He has the best completion percentage in the league at 62%, and he's going to use that all night long. And you just see his confidence in the pocket as Eau Claire's going to be pressuring him all night long. He doesn't panic, and the team that wins the game is going to be a quarterback who doesn't panic under pressure.
Yeah, and the Siege can do a lot of different things. They can air it out to Yates. They can run it with Gray. You never know what it's going to do. So if you're the Axemen, you're going to have to defend, play your game. Same thing with the Siege. You're going to have to give your quarterback enough time to throw. And to me, Luke, that's been a big thing this year as well. The offensive line has been outstanding. Caleb Lowe has had all kinds of time to throw back there.
Yeah, that's a big strength of this offense is up front with those 2 tight ends, Bohr and Brown. They're very good in the run game, and then the center Callwood as well. They have the second most rush yards in the league this season. They don't throw the ball quite as much, but when they do, they're very efficient. Short pass games. Can they throw the ball down the field? That's going to be another big question tonight. If they have to force the issue, will they be able to?
We'll come back and find out what's going to happen here as we get ready for football. It's Siege football on the Arena League Football League. Welcome back to Arena League Football. Josh Shannon McHarg along with you from Grand Island, Nebraska, Harlan Event Center, and the Ramada Field. Happy to have you along. Sieg going to be throwing it off here. It's going to be Songa Yates back to Eau Claire Axemen.
Dangerous returner back here. Bo Butler took one in the house last week.
Butler grabs it about the 3-yard line, takes it up to the 5, gets to the 10, and going to be brought down about the 12-yard line. So not too bad a yardage there, but Siege read it pretty well.
Yeah, really good defense on the kickoff return by the Siege. That's another thing that could play a big part today. Kevin Davis and Bo Butler Jr. are two of the best returners in the league. They've both taken kicks back for touchdowns this year. That could be a big game-changing play at some point if they can find a crease and take it all the way.
So Axemen will start with the ball here. Coming off, like you said in the pregame, just a tough loss last week. It's a game they probably should have won. Just couldn't do much in the red zone, and it hurt them a couple different times. So Malik Gaylord back here now, the quarterback, does a fantastic job for this team.
Keep an eye on number 1 and number 4 out there. That's Bo Butler and Joshua Murray. Those are their go-to targets in the pass game most of the time.
Gaylord back to throw. At the 5, he's got his, watch out for Singa, who got in there quickly. Serta got in there, almost got him, and that rushed the throw, and it made it incomplete. So there's that defense I talked about in the pregame for these Nebraska Siege.
Yeah, great job there. That's Keyshawn Cunningham getting in for the pass breakup, and great pressure straight to the quarterback. Nobody blocked Jason Serta, and that's what caused the incompletion. Had to rush the throw, and Gaylord down on the play.
That's tough when your quarterback's down on the very first play. He got hit pretty hard from Serta. You look at Eau Claire here. They came in with 195.5 yards a game throwing, and for the Siege 140. So I knew that they were going to be more of an air team, where the Siege has done a lot with their legs, but Caleb Wetlow is very capable of throwing. So we'll see what happens here. Gaylord gets up. Let's see what happens here on this one. Serta got him. It looks like, that left leg got twisted underneath there.
Yeah, he kind of got hit right after he released the ball by Simons. And now I think we're going to have to switch at quarterback here. We'll see who they have. Looks like Joshua Murray.
Yeah, Murray's back there right now. So this could be a big factor in the game. First play of the game. Murray's back there. He looks a little confused. There's going to be a timeout called. Eau Claire is all kinds out of sorts right now here. Murray didn't know what to do.
Yeah, most of these teams, Josh, only carry one quarterback on their roster, and that's just the nature of the game. These are small rosters. They don't have a lot of depth. So a quarterback goes down, that completely changes the game, and we'll see what we have going for Eau Claire as they come back to action.
Joshua Murray, 2008, rushed for 1,146 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's from North Dakota. So back as the quarterback, and we'll see what happens with Gaylord. Boy, he was a high-touted quarterback. We hate to see him out of this game so early.
Yeah, look for the Siege to keep sending pressure at this new quarterback, see if he can handle it.
Second down here. No men in motion. It's a low snap and nothing doing. Fumble on the play, but the Axemen get it back. Wow, just a quick one getting in there again is Serta.
Yeah, Serta just went straight after the quarterback on that one, and that was party at the quarterback. 3 guys in the backfield causing the forced fumble. Eau Claire able to recover it.
I know Jason Serta is one of the fun guys you've liked to watch this year for Nebraska Siege. He did a really nice job all season long, all 3 games, or 2 games leading up to this point. And he's a guy that is just really hard to defend. Yeah, we talked to Coach Bramante. He said he gets under pressure. He likes to say, "You got certified." There we go. Ball on the 6-yard line now. It is third down, and we're going to have a delay of game probably on this one. Flag on the play. Coach out there yelling at some players. And these are the ones that keep the coaches up at night. Took too long to snap the ball. And again, with a guy who's playing, the running back playing quarterback, and maybe he didn't know how much time he had.
Yeah, and they really need to get Malik Gaylord back in the game if they're going to have any chance in this one. It's too much of an adjustment. I'm sure he's practiced taking snaps just in case this happens, but it's a completely different game with a different quarterback in arena football.
So now the ball will start right about the 3-yard line, and now you've really got to get rid of it quickly here if you're Murray. This one, Murray, Joshua Murray gets it back, goes to throw, airs it out, and overthrows his intended receiver. Can't get that one out to Brian Sanford, and it's going to be fourth down. So the Siege grabbed it off the wall, thought they could run it in, but you can't do that.
Yeah, just a bit of an errant throw there. He had an open receiver in Sanford playing his first game, but
so they're gonna pass on the fourth down here and just turn the ball over. Surrender. you can do that in this league.
Yeah, they're going to need Gaylord back under center here. Otherwise, this game's going to get away from them in a hurry as the Siege take over at the 15.
So Caleb Lowe back here. We talked about his numbers on the season. He's been really good. He wasn't the original starting quarterback, but took over kind of midway through that first game and never looked back. He's been very efficient back there. He can run, he can throw, he likes to hand off. He's got in the backfield there is going to be Mosey.
Yeah, Elijah Gray is their leader in carries on the season, but he's not starting in the game. Instead, it's Keon Mosey.
Yates, a wide receiver. Kevin Davis in the backfield as well. He's the man in motion, gets the line of scrimmage. They are going to look to him. They do get out to Yates about the 12-yard line, so not much of a gain there.
I think he actually lost yardage there, Josh.
He was grabbed at the beginning of the play. Do you see him yank backwards there? His defender grabbed him and pulled him back. And that was Anthony Sander who grabbed him.
Yeah, keep an eye on this matchup on the outside. Sander had a rough time in coverage against Aaron Dilworth, one of the best receivers in this league last week. We'll see how he does now.
Lowe gets it back out to Davis, goes to the 20, to the 23, and he's going to be thrown out of bounds literally right there. And so a good gain there of about 9 right now for the Siege. And good enough for well, it's still going to be third down. I thought maybe they had the first, but not quite.
And Josh, that's what the Siege team does so well. They don't force the issue down the field. They take what's in front of them. Not a huge game, but it makes an easy third down situation, or easier, that is.
Yates, a lone wide receiver. Let's see if they go to him. We haven't said his name much. Davis breaks out Yates across the field. They do go to Yates, wide open, catches it at the 2, brings it into the end zone, touchdown for the Nebraska Siege.
There's Songi Yates. We were waiting to see the ball go to him. He is their best receiver. He leads the team with 10 receptions and 3 touchdowns, I believe. And there he just flat out beat Sander in coverage. And I mentioned earlier, Sander had a rough time in coverage against Dilworth. I thought maybe they'd try a different matchup there. But there he goes. Eau Claire thinks he's their best coverage guy. Beat by Yates there, and we'll see what they do for the conversion opportunity.
I thought they might go to Yates there. It's been too quiet on his side of the field. And so they did go to him there. Now going to go for the just 1 point, lining up on the 5-yard line, so that's what that means.
Yeah, Yates with 10 receptions, 4 touchdowns on the season. He's their go-to guy. He's also their go-to guy in these situations with 4 extra point conversions.
See if they get back to him. He cuts across the middle of the field. Rolling is low, does throw it, and it's going to be no good. That one goes to a guy in the VIP section. We got some pushing and shoving there. Vince Brown, a couple guys out there. This officiating staff won't take anything. We saw that last time. So anyways, it will be a 6-0 game here for the Siege on a touchdown by Yates. That was a nice play. That was a good 27-yard play there.
I mentioned in the opening, the Siege don't usually throw the ball down the field that often. Low percentage on those long passes. I didn't know if it came down to it, if Lowe was going to be able to make those throws down the field, but there it was. First opportunities, 1 for 1 down the field, Josh.
So far, so good here for the Siege. You just need to come back and get something going here right now if you're Eau Claire. And Bo Butler Jr. back to receive the ball here. He's got good wheels. He's at the 5-yard line. Number 1 throwing to number 1 with Songi Yates to our left, throwing off here. Yates does most of the throw-offs. No kicking in this league if you're not familiar. So they throw it off, and most of the time it's not the quarterback that throws it. Yates, good spiral. That one goes back to about the 3. Picked up there. Going to bring it up here is going to be Bo Butler out to the 15, and he stops there. And they're going to say, he was out to about the 12-yard line.
And there you see a glimpse of how scary Butler can be in the return game. He didn't break that one, but he was 1 tackle away from having a big crease there. They have to make sure they don't relax on any throw-off returns, because he will find it. And here we see Malik Gaylord back out there at quarterback. Great sign for the Axemen.
So Axemen will try to see what they can do. Once again, the quarterback back out there. Looks like we are good to go with Gaylord. And Malik Gaylord is back out there. Good to see. Going right now and trying to get around is Magby. And Sequoia Magby brought it down about the 13-yard line. Really maybe a gain of about 1, if any.
And Josh, I don't think Magby was active last week against the Diamonds. Another option to throw out there, running back.
So now, ball going to be on about the 11-yard line. It is second down. 6-0 Siege. Gaylord, nice quarterback back there. Got hurt in the first play, but he back there now. Rolls left. Looks like the leg's doing okay. Throws this one out to midfield. That one goes to Joshua Murray, who was acting as quarterback. He scrambles for about 3 or 4 yards, and that's where they'll take it at about the 16, 17-yard line.
There you see Songa Yates on the tackle. He plays both sides of the ball a lot of the time for the Siege team. Avarian Cole not active tonight. He's usually one of their go-to corners, so it'll be interesting to see how Yates holds up in coverage today.
So now it's third down, trying to stop him here. And you got Gilliard, the quarterback, talking to his guys. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. So the team that likes to throw a lot, man in motion. Not going to give it to him. He's going to air it out, and he overthrows his intended receiver. Murray was out there and upset with the quarterback. Boy, Joshua Murray wide open, and he overthrows the ball.
Yeah, there's a blown coverage by the Siege. Cunningham and McCall not on the same page as to what coverage they were in. They had a miscommunication. Nobody was on down the field. Lucky that Gaylord couldn't connect on that throw.
And so Siege will get the ball back, and boy, that's a good break for them. And that's a really, really miscommunicated play there by the quarterback of Eau Claire.
Yeah, and when the Siege struggle on defense, it's when they give up those big plays. They're so solid defensively. Almost all of their touchdowns are on complete blown coverages down the field. You saw 2 of them on Avarian Cole for Memphis. McCall blew a few last week. That's when they struggle on defense on those plays.
So back to throw now. Caleb Lowe did a nice job at quarterback. Rolls left, and this is the handoff in the backfield. Rolling around is going to be Mosey. He gets up to about the 26-yard line. Give that one about 11 yards.
Yeah, and I like seeing Mosey back there in the backfield. Elijah Gray does a really good job in between the tackles, but Mosey a little bit more of a quick athlete back there.
Mosey with 5 carries on the season. He does have a couple receptions as well, 3, and just 1 touchdown in the early season. Siege taking a timeout. It is. So it's timeout taken there right now by the Axemen. And so that's where we look at the scoring drive here. It was a 12-yard throw to Songa Yates at 11:45 left in the first quarter. It's a 27-yard play. The extra point was no good, and that's the only scoring in this game right now. And so Siege looking to get it down the field, score often and score early. You have to see some really good defense right now here from Eau Claire.
Yeah, so far the difference in the game, 2 opportunities at open receivers down the field. Lowe converted on his, Gaylord couldn't on his. If that keeps up, that's going to be a really good sign for the Siege.
So first down, ball in about the 24-yard line. Lowe back to throw. He's got all kinds of time. Goes to Davis. He receives it out to the 20. Fumble on the play, but he comes down on top of it. That's going to be a gain of about 4. Not really much throwing there for Davis, and good job by the Axemen.
Yeah, just a simple screen pass there to Davis, and you saw a heck of a block by Vince Brown. Coming out there, out of the box. Cracking down on the corner.
Claire Axemen have 6 sacks on the season, but it's hard to get past this penetrating this front line of the Nebraska Siege as we've seen them this year. Handoff this time, Yates rolls right, and gets nothing doing there. Brought down by a pack, including number 36, Tariq Mann for the Axemen.
Yeah, Mann, a very important player on this Eau Claire defense. The 3 I have highlighted for them are Richie Murphy in the secondary, playing that safety position, and then James Dorr and Tariq Mann at linebacker. Those are both guys that like to get after the quarterback and stuff the run game.
Went to Husson College, played for Duluth Harbor Monsters as well last year in a different Arena League football. Rolling right is Caleb Lowe, gets out to Yates at about the 6-yard line, brought down good for another first down, but Yates was hit pretty hard on that one.
And there you see another pass to Yates and another target towards Anthony Sander. They're going to go at him all day, Josh, if he doesn't play a little bit better in coverage.
Yeah, and he had pretty good coverage last week against the Diamonds, but Songa Yates is a hard guy to defend. He's very squirrely and very quick. So now trying to get in the end zone again here are the red and white of the Nebraska Siege. Mosey, man in motion. This one gives off to Elijah Gray. He rolls forwards in for a touchdown. Elijah Gray, they were calling him a mini fridge last week on the broadcast, and that's just kind of what he is. He just kind of pushes his way through. He's almost like a dorm fridge. Yeah, an absolute unit out there, and we talked to Coach Bramante last week after the game. We asked him about Elijah Gray out there. He said he runs angry, and if you don't bring your game when you're
come to tackle him, he's going to run you over. That's exactly what he did to the safety of Eau Claire there. Touchdown, Siege.
So now, going to go for the extra point again here is the Nebraska Siege. Elijah Gray, it's been too quiet for his name as well to be mentioned here. Axemen trying to stop. They did a nice job last time of stopping the extra point. Low, back to throw from the 10. The ball will be set at the 5, so just going for the 1 extra point. There's a flag on the play. Yates catches it, but this may come back. I think this is going to be on Nebraska. See what the call is going to be here. Yep. So, yeah, offsides are for Nebraska Siege. So they're going to try it again. Illegal motion and somebody in the backfield.
So they'll redo it now. Their go-to guys in these situations are Yates and Brown.
Yep, you had two guys rolling there. You had Gray and you had Yates both moving at the same time, and you can't do that.
Yeah, I can't have two players in forward motion. You can have one in horizontal and one in forward at the same time, but you can't have two of a kind.
Caleb Lowe back to throw. Again, looks to the right, and that one no good. Nice pass defense there, and almost getting a hand on that one was Sanford. Knocking it down, but the ball was thrown a little shy, and so no extra point there. But it is 12-0 Nebraska Siege here in the first quarter with 6:50 left.
Yeah, just moving the ball at will against this Axemen defense. They're getting the ball to Yates, and they simply don't have an answer for him. They're going to have to figure that out if they want a chance at sticking with the Siege here, already down 12-0.
Talked about the Siege coming into this one with the number 2 offense in the league currently behind St. Joseph, and it's a close second, but the number 1 defense as well. So they've showed very good offense thus far. You need a good stop and a good run back here on offense right now for the Axemen. You got to get back in this thing. You're down 12-0.
Yeah, and you really like to see the Siege not looking forward at this point. Big matchup against St. Joe's next week, but not overlooking Eau Claire as they've come out sharper than ever in this one. And Eau Claire here with a chance to answer.
Bo Butler Jr. back to receive it from Yates. Gets that one right at it bounces away from him. He's going to pick it up in the end zone and be pushed against the wall and sacked there. Wow, nothing. Didn't work at all for him. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, I think he misjudged how far it was thrown.
Well, Josh, I thought that ball maybe hit the ceiling, and that's what Eau Claire's going to say. If it hits the ceiling, the play's dead, I believe. So
yeah, the way it fell,
they're going to go
maybe you're
challenge
right.
it now. I think that's what ended up happening.
There's speakers hanging down in here at the Heartland Event Center, so they probably hit. So now, hit one of the speakers. You're right. I didn't see that part. Speakers are hanging about as low as the scoreboard above. So we'll see if this was going to be the call here. And I like the idea there from the coaches saying, hey, this is what happened. But look at your scoring drives. Songy Yates had a 27-yarder earlier for Nebraska, and you had Elijah Gray with a 6-yarder. Both times, Siege not able to convert the extra points. So this one under review right now here. Vermonte talking about as well, and I think, yeah, they're pointing up stops, so saying the speaker. Vermonte says, well, isn't that inbounds?
Yeah, no, I think there's no way that ball didn't hit the ceiling with the way that it changed in spin coming down.
Yeah, when I watched that replay and the way it just kind of dead duck fell down, then that's the way things happen there. You look at Eau Claire Axemen, indoor football team. They play at the Song and Tag Event Center there in Wisconsin. All right, pretty cool. And let's see what's going to happen here. Of course, head coach Jim Britton challenged Michael Johnson and the assistant coach. Let's see what the call here is from the referee. Well, hit the scoreboard. There we go. So that's it. So no. And the first down, the ball going to start at the 20-yard line. We're up to 25.
Pretty obvious with the way the ball came down, so good challenge by Eau Claire.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it hit the speaker or the scoreboard. So it hit the scoreboard. So ball to 25. So now you need to take these lemons and make lemonade here if you're Eau Claire Axemen. And Malik Gaylord back to throw. He's at the 20-yard line. Sends a man in motion. Looks to that man in motion. Tries to get it out to him. That's Sanford and gets the ball, and he bounces in. And they're going to say touchdown. Wow, he gets that one out to Josh Murray, the wide receiver. And, boy, not sure what happened at all there in Cunningham. He completely blew his coverage.
Yeah, I mentioned these blown coverages. It happens too much for the Siege. It's the biggest weakness on their defense where they just lose guys. And there I think it was zone coverage, and Cunningham just chased his man outside of his third, and then Murray wide open for the touchdown.
They sit Sandifer out, and I think that's what the Seeds were watching, because that's what I was watching originally up the middle, and then all of a sudden wide open was Joshua Murray. He does a fantastic job. That was one of your players to do good today. He's in for 6.
Yeah, well, I think Cunningham maybe thought they were in man coverage. Otherwise, he just ran too far with his guy and didn't see Murray.
So now going for the extra point here. Back to throw is Gaillard. Throws that one up and trying to get it in for the end zone. Do they get it? Bo Butler, he's in for the extra point. Got that one down, so the first extra point of the night belongs to Eau Claire, and a nice job there by Bo Butler Jr. to get that one in.
Yeah, Cunningham tried to pull him back, but just couldn't quite get a hold of him, and then Butler into the end zone.
So Eau Claire's on the board here, and its extra point was good, and so now it is 12-7 for Nebraska Siege. And just, it hasn't been the defense. We talked about their defense, and their pass coverage has not been good here yet in the early going. Got to clean some things up. Got the logos down on the field now. Looks great. Got the red and white footballs going. I see some kids walking around with that. And that's one of my favorite parts, too, of the broadcast. Is you just see kids getting involved in this, and this is what it's all about. So back to throw right now here is going to be Kendall Flowers, or Fowler. Fowler's going to throw it off. Picked up there by the Siege. Davis has that one. Going to the 15, maybe the 16. We'll see where they spot him there. That one was Davis bringing it down.
Good job by both of these coverage units so far against the electric return men. No big returns yet.
Kevin Davis looking to get his team back on the board here with 5:40 left in the first quarter, 12-7. And that was a really good, nice offensive drive there by Eau Claire. Just to, take the ball in the 25, first play, come out and score a touchdown. So good field possession for them, and Siege will start here at the 15-yard line with some work to do. 2 men in the backfield. Yates on the far left as a receiver. Actually, Yates on the near side. This time hand off to Davis in a little sweep. Roll around the right side. Going to be brought to about the 17. Really not much gain. Maybe about 2 there. Good defense there by the Axemen.
Really good block on the outside by Hampton. His first game here with the Siege out of Savannah State.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. Just added him to the roster. And fun to see. I know originally he was, and a funny story about him, I'll tell you here in a minute when we get a break, how he even tried out for the Siege. He had to empty his bank account to get. We'll talk about that in a second. Low back to throw. This time looks for Davis, bounces it in, incomplete pass. So back to Hampton there. I was reading a story up on this when he went to do the tryouts here at the Harlan Event Center. He said he took all of his money on a plane ticket and an Uber to get here to try out for the team. He said, my family doesn't even know I'm here. And he said, I cleaned out my bank account to get here. Well, guess what? It paid off.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Great story for the Siege.
Yates out left. It is third down now. Ball on the 17-yard line. Really not much doing here offensively. This possession for the Siege trying to change that. Cutting up the middle. There is Davis. Gives this one over to Hampton. Gets the ball himself. First time reception for him. Catches about the 21. Gain of 3 or 4. Let's see what they spot it. It's going to be at the 21, so a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, really good coverage by Eau Claire there. You saw physical reroutes all across the board. One thing about this Eau Claire team, they're very physical, and then you saw a big hit at the end with Sander. He struggled at times in coverage, but he can really lay the wood out there for a corner.
So Siege trying to get another one in here, leading 12-7. Man in motion is Yates. And under pressure and sacked there is Lowe. Wow, that doesn't happen very often, but getting in there like a pit bull in a pork chop is James Dorr, the linebacker.
Yeah, there you see Dorr getting into the backfield for the first time tonight. He's the only player on this Eau Claire team who played Division I football at Eastern Michigan. He's a playmaker for this defense, really the heart and soul, and that's big for the Axemen because it was 4th down, and now they'll take over with excellent field position at the 15.
Yeah, and we talked about how good the line has been up front. Boy, they weren't good at that time at all. He came in from the backside and knocked him down. A nice job there by James Dorr. 59 tackles in 1 year. Valparaiso transferred to Eastern Michigan, as you said. That's a big guy coming at you. So now the Axemen trying to take again lemons and make lemonade back there. And Malik Gaillard back there at the 20-yard line will receive the ball. If you're the Siege, you've got to play the best pass defense you've played all night, because it's been a little lax. Ball going to be Height here at the 15. Send a man in motion around the left side. That's going to be Magby. Rolling right. Gaylord throws it in the end zone. Wide open again. Touchdown again. This time it's Bo Butler. Wow, who was supposed to be covering him? I don't know.
Just another absolute bust of the secondary for the Siege. That's in the area of Songa Yates. I don't know what coverage they were in there, but he was right behind him. That had to have been in his zone if they were there. Or otherwise, if they were in man coverage, he completely blew by him. That's the second busted coverage, really third busted coverage of the game. And the Siege have one of the best defenses in the league about 90% of the time, but that other 10%, they absolutely blow the coverage down the field. So it's feast or famine for this Siege defense.
Going to go for the extra point, the one here. They already have a 1-point lead. This is for a 2-point lead here for Eau Claire. Rolling all kinds of time here for Gaylord. Now he rolls, scrambles, trying to get rid of the ball. Does dish it off to an up man. And the Siege are going to keep him from going. Got the ball out to Joyce, but Siege say, no suit for you. Not able to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, that's a great job by the Siege defense. Getting tackling there. They had 3 guys, making sure they brought down that big receiver in Joyce and holding him out of the end zone to keep it at a 1-point game.
So you had the Siege strike first. They scored 2 touchdowns in a row, and then from the 7-minute mark on, it's been all Eau Claire right now, and just the defense has been lax here for the Siege tonight. I mean, that's been their strong point. You and I have seen them play here a couple times, and we've seen them on the screen last week on the road. We watched the game, but the defense needs to pick up their game a little bit here. This Eau Claire team comes out. They've been doing their scouting.
Yeah, just a couple blown coverages. That's all it is. I've said it enough today, but that's the one thing, the one weakness of this Siege defense, and really the Siege team as a whole. They're not super solid in coverage down the field.
Throws off to Mosey. Excuse me, that's Yates. Yates picks it up. Comes up to about the 14, 15-yard line. Such a playmaker, zigzag. If you draw that up on one of the screens here, it look like spaghetti all over your screen. So not the greatest field possession, but they'll take what they can get and try to do something with it. Siege come back out on offense. You know, maybe look to utilize Vince Brown. We really haven't said his name much, the tight end. See if they can get the ball to him. There's a lot of weapons on this Nebraska Siege team, and we haven't seen all of them yet.
Yeah, Brown always has a sneaky impact on the game. Most of the time he's kind of a slow starter, but his targets come scattered throughout the game, and he has 8 receptions on the year and 4 touchdowns, but he's a key factor of this offense. Great in the blocking game, too.
So Caleb Lowe back to throw here on to Huntingdon College. Handoff this time, cuts up the middle, and that's Hampton, the new guy. Hey, you get the ball, you take it up. Gets up to about the 17, maybe 18-yard line. So we'll say a gain of about 3 or 4 there. So
that's
18.
A solid pickup for the Siege on first down. If you can gain about 3 or 4 yards on a play, you're going to do just well for yourself.
Just Joseph Hampton from Catawba College. Back to throw quickly and gets this one to Davis, but not anything doing on that one. They might have lost a yard on a quick slant pass. And good defense there from Eau Claire. That's Yafe Harvey.
Yeah, Willie McCaleb just absolutely read that screen pass like a book, shot in there, and made the tackle coming through unblocked.
Harvey was down there, too, on that one. So now it's third down. Siege, you need to maybe air it out a little bit. I know you like to do your running game. No Gray out there on the field, which kind of surprises me. Again, Hampton in the backfield. Man in motion is Davis this time. Rolling is Low, he needs to get rid of it, throws it up the middle. Ooh, almost picked off. That's a dangerous throw, and that's what the pressure does. Really good pressure applied there by Jason Dorr once again. James Dorr, excuse me.
Just threw the ball behind Yates, and we're going to have a penalty, but I think it's going to be on the Siege for an illegal motion.
Let's see what the call is going to be here. Oh, it's offsides. Wow. So Siege will definitely take that on the penalty.
Yeah, a gift, and you can see clearly it's the outside linebacker on the other side. James Dorr getting a little bit of a head start there. And that's huge as the Siege get a second crack at this third down.
So now third down, ball on the 20-yard line. And Siege need to get a big play. Needs something to do. Caleb Lowe's been under pressure, and he's not used to that. And we're going to offsides again. Who said it, though? You had guys moving up front as well. I kind of saw Callwood move a little bit, but was he first or second to move for the Siege? That's the debate. I believe that Eau Claire moved first.
Yeah, I think this is going to be against the Axemen D-line up front.
Yep, it is again. So 2 consecutive plays of offsides. Getting a little antsy in the pantsy there are the Axemen. And this one moving just a little over the line. Yep, on the far right side there.
Yeah, and clearly up front, that's Fowler jumping over and touching Colwood. And that's all the Siege with their snap count there, as you saw Davis on the outside run up to the line and stop. They had some sort of hard count going there that got the Axemen to jump off sides. That's going to drive a coach crazy.
Yeah, James Dorer jumped over too. I saw him. He was the first one I saw move. So now you get more field possession. That's a first down. Low scrambles, throws to throw it out, airs it out. One hand, Vince Brown can't bring it down and in. Boy, it was good coverage on him, trying to get out. And again, Low under pressure. Not much chance for him to get rid of that ball.
Yeah, the first time Low's really experienced heavy pressure, and honestly, that's really good ball placement. Brown just couldn't get his second hand to that ball to haul it in.
Good coverage by the Axemen there, and Low not used to this pressure. He's had all kinds of time all year long to throw the ball, and so now seeing what a quarterback made of, he's used to it. He played a lot of indoor football in his career. It's going to be second down, ball on the 26. It's a hike, gets rid of it, rolls left, got time to throw this time, airs it out into the end zone, and almost picked off, and no good. Intended for Yates there, but good defense once again there by Sanford.
Yeah, and that time you had great protection up front from Bohr, but just even better coverage down the field with Sander and Murray, and on the other side too. All around, great defense. That's Grant on the other side.
So they get the ball in the 26 and the new Siege logo they just put down on the field when I got here today. So now you see what you got to do. You got a couple guys lined up here for the Siege. On the far right side, David Brown. We haven't said his name much. Timeout going to be called here by Nebraska to talk some things over. We'll take a break, come back. This is Arena League football. Back to Arena League football, Grand Island, Nebraska at the Harlan Event Center. A 1-point game here between Nebraska Siege trailing at 13-12 to Eau Claire Axemen. Josh Salmon, Luke McCarg back with you for second quarter. It's been a very interesting back and forth second quarter here, Luke. You saw the Siege strike early, but Eau Claire playing really well right now, and the Axemen with the momentum.
Yeah, early on, the Axemen had no answer to the Siege's offense, and then it completely switched for the second half of the first quarter.
So Low, back to throw here. Airs it out down the middle. Wide open is Davis, and he gets in for the touchdown. That is Kevin Davis. He's been the favorite reception tonight, favorite receiver here tonight for Nebraska Siege and quarterback Caleb Low.
Yeah, unbelievable, Josh. So many coverages just completely blown as he just ran by his guy. It was Richie Murphy in coverage, wide open down the field, and Lowe 2 for 2 down the field on hitting open receivers.
I mean, we're 10 seconds off the clock here. Nebraska scored that one already here in the second quarter. Kind of like they start off in the first quarter. Let's see if they can get the extra point. They haven't been able to convert that. They've had a hard time with that all year, to be actually honest with you. Yates rolling right. Let's see if they go over there. It's a low snap. Roll lowing to Yates. I don't think it's going to be good. And it's no good. So, again, no extra point. But now it's a 5-point lead here for Nebraska.
Yeah, you've seen the secondaries for both teams just not on the same page with each other. I think a lot of these blown coverages are just lack of communication where one man's in zone, one person's playing man coverage, and they're just not quite communicating well enough, and that's how you see wide open receivers like that. Very rarely is it just somebody running by somebody like it was there.
And for Davis, he's had a couple touchdowns this season. That's actually just his third. He's had one in each game, so he keeps that momentum going with one touchdown here. Maybe he'll score another one a little bit later. We'll see. Eau Claire could use a really good run back here. Let's see if they can get that right now from Bo Butler Jr., who's lightning quick. Yates back to throw to him again. It's number one throwing to number one. Makes it easy on us. Same uniform number. Yates, it's a wobbly throw. Butler receives that one at the 1. It's up to the 5. Gets to about the 12. Keeps pushing forward to about the 13-14. Let's see if they spot this one. I really like that play. Boy, that was pretty much him. He had one guy pushing on the back, but he was taking 3 Siege guys with him.
Yeah, good job.
Run.
An old-fashioned rugby scrum there to push the pile for a few more yards.
So they're going to spot that one right about the 14-yard line. So give that about a 13-yard run unofficially for Bo Butler Jr. It's Marcelino, I should say, is his real name, but he goes by Bo.
And here you see the Siege switching up a little bit their coverage strategy. Simon's out there lined up on the receiver on the bottom of your screen.
Malik Gaylord, his man in motion is Butler. Rolls behind him to the left side. Twins on the right side as well. Low snap, it's on the ground. Picks it up quickly. Double clutches up the middle. Gets a receiver next to Josh Murray again, who gets hit hard. Helmet comes off.
And that was just
Cunningham.
That was just a great play design there, as you saw Murray perfectly executing, knowing what the coverage was, sitting in the gap in the zone. Big collision, and now Cunningham hurt after the collision.
Yeah, Murray took a good hit, but Cunningham came up with the bulk of that one, and he still isn't up. Down on the ground there is Cunningham. The helmet came off. It was a nice job by Gaylord to get rid of that one. He had double clutch on a very low snap down by his shoelaces. Picks it up, has time to get rid of the ball, makes a really nice throw out to Murray, who already has a touchdown today.
Yeah, his mobility has been on full display as he's done a nice job of avoiding the Siege pressure. Better than anybody has against the Siege so far. Usually when you see Holmes and Nixon and Serta coming at you and Simons, quarterbacks tend to panic, but Gaylord's done a nice job, and I think that comes with experience too, Josh. This being the third game of the season here in the Arena League, every league is a little bit different, and the pressure in this one is the big difference maker that sets it apart, and I think quarterbacks are starting to adjust to it a little bit better.
So everybody's okay. Cunningham comes out of this one. It's going to be on the 20, call it the 22-yard, call it the 22-yard line. Little rainbow passover, and ball knocked incomplete. Helmet comes off, but there's lots of things going on there. Eldridge Joyce, the tight end, was going to get that one. And nice coverage by the Siege.
Yeah, and a flag on the field. We'll see what we get. That's a really good job in coverage there by Jaleel Holmes. And the linebacker responsibilities are pretty complicated here because the tight end's role is so interesting with them staying in to block a lot of the times, but then also going out to pass. You have to be ready for that. Good job by Holmes in coverage, and we'll see if maybe we get hands to the face with the helmet coming off.
Yeah, I have unofficially 2 penalties each team in the first quarter, so we'll see what happens here from the White Hat, who came up and talked to us before the game. Nice of him to do that. Ouch, personal foul now. This one's going against Eau Claire, and that one going against Bo Butler.
So that must have been away from the play, Josh.
Yeah, I didn't see either.
It wasn't obvious.
So Bo Butler came over. Oh, there's a late hit right there.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Knocking down his defender.
And I'm not sure if that was even 100% intentional. It might have just been a collision. It's hard to say.
Jaleel Holmes is who he knocked down. So that's a big penalty here. And let's see if the Siege can take advantage of this. They need to get in there and make a good sack right now.
Yeah, and with the field being half of the length of a normal field, a long penalty like that really changes the game, as now you have second and a country mile for the Axemen.
So Eau Claire's going to change some things here at the line. Discuss what they want to do. A little bit of confusion. I'm not sure what's going on here right now on the field. You look at Eau Claire the past couple of weeks, 0-2, and a game they should have won last week, probably against Arkansas Diamonds. I'm sure if you talk to the head coach, he'd say the same thing. A very close game, losing that one 32-30. I watched that one for a little while. They had a chance at the end in the red zone, and they've struggled in that red zone. They're 12% this year in the red zone.
Yeah, that's really a weakness for this team.
221 yards in that game. They did score 267 in week one against the Lunkers, losing that one 48-32 to Ozark Lunkers. Both games, though, they had a nice job on first downs. They've had 10 first downs, but not able to do much with them at all.
Yeah, this Eau Claire team has shown a lot of improvement from last year. Last year was their first year in the league. They went 1-7, which was the worst out of the 6 teams last year. But you've seen them take big steps forward this year. Even though they haven't come up with their first win, they have a much more competitive product on the field. And like you said, should have won that game last week. They struggled a little bit defensively against the Lunkers, but it's really fun to see them playing a better brand of football.
So ball going to start here after the penalty and this much discussion on the 14-yard line. Gaylord back, gets the ball. The man in motion. Ooh, we almost had offsides there. Throws it out wide open to Butler and intercepted. Picked off there by the Siege. That's Keyshawn Cunningham. I think he's okay.
Yeah, what a play by Cunningham. There was just straight man coverage on the back end. They've blown so many coverages. That time, Butler had his step on Cunningham, but Cunningham just kept running and then making the interception to top it off. Great job there by the Siege.
Butler was off to the races. We've seen a lot of blown coverage. That time, not so much. That's the 7th interception of the season from Malik Gaylord, and that's a big one. Siege get the ball back. Got some work to do, but a really good interception there, and that's maybe the momentum right now that Nebraska needed, as things have shifted here a little bit at the Harlan Event Center as far as momentum-wise.
Yeah, it's been feast or famine today for Keyshawn Cunningham. He's gotten exploited a couple times on the back end, but that time making a huge play. Made one earlier in the game, too, with the deflection. Overall, good performance we've seen so far from Cunningham.
Ball on the 5-yard line. Hands off. This one cutting up the middle. Looks like it's going to be Hampton again. No, that was Mosey. Excuse me. Mosey with about 5-yard run.
Utilize Mosey a little bit more. He's a really versatile chess piece for the team. He lines up in the backfield a lot, splits out a lot.
Mosey came into this game with just 5 carries, but he's a guy that they use sporadically, and he's very effective when they use him. Now 2nd down, ball here on the, call it the 10-yard line. Takes a handoff. Quick pass up the middle to Davis. He shakes and bakes. Gets out to about the 19. He's going to be pulled down maybe about the 18th. Nice little quick play there. It looked like they were going to throw it out, and that is just a quick draw from Lowe out to Davis. Well executed by Nebraska Siege.
Yeah, I've mentioned usually on the season it's been Yates and Brown that have been their target leaders, but Davis has been the go-to guy in this game so far. Already has a touchdown and 4 receptions. They're really looking to get him the ball today.
So just moving the ball right down the line here is Nebraska Siege. Ball sitting on the 20-yard line. Lowe rolls right, looking for a defender, throws it wide open. He's got a man out there. Wow, Yates outruns his defender at the last second. And again, right against Sanford, and Yates with the little shake and bake dance out there in the end zone for another 6.
Yeah, that ball couldn't have been placed any better by Caleb Lowe. He couldn't have walked it out and handed it to him and put it in a better spot than that. The only place he could have put it, honestly, pretty good coverage by Sander out there, but just a better throw by Lowe. That's just Lowe making a better throw against great coverage on the outside.
So Yates scored the first touchdown of the game and now scores his second one here with 11:49 left. And Nebraska Siege looking to get their first extra point of the game. It's 24-13. They're going to go for 2 this time, Luke. They're back on the 10-yard line. Rolling back, Lowe has it, tosses this one out, and not able to come up with it right through the hands. Couldn't get it to go there for Vince Brown, but nonetheless, it's a 9-point lead here for Nebraska Siege, 24-13. Call that a 31-yard touchdown. Really nice play there, and I really like what I saw in offense this time by Nebraska Siege, rolling around. They gave Lowe a little bit more time, not as much as we've seen in the past, but a lot more time than we saw in the first quarter to get rid of the ball. And when you give playmakers time to make play, they're going to make plays.
Yeah, Lowe's really on his game today. He's made 3 really good throws down the field today, and it's not on brand for the Siege. Usually what they tend to do is dink and dunk down the field, take short throws all the way down, and just really death by 1,000 paper cuts for the other team's defense. But this time, not the case. 3 long touchdowns.
Sequoia Magby back to receive this time. Yates throws it off to trying a different guy. Magby picks it up in the end zone. Scrambles out to the 5, cuts up the middle, gets brought down about the 7 or 8, and a nice tackle there by Kevin Davis.
That's going to be a flag.
Ooh, there's some late pushing and shoving there, and that's a big no-no.
I'm really surprised the Stripes didn't throw a flag on that one. You clearly saw Sequoia Magby push off of a Siege defender's helmet on the end of that play.
I like the Kung Fu Fighting song playing right now. So, yeah, watch the end of this play as Magby rolling around, gets socked by Davis. He's upset about it. Says, "Get off my foot."
Yeah, that should be a penalty, Josh.
Got away with one there. So Siege have really shifted the momentum here since the beginning of the second quarter. Look for Eau Claire to come out with maybe something big. They're going to send twins to the right side this time. And a man in motion on the left side will be Butler, probably.
Yeah, you've seen the switch be effective so far, having Simons on the outside. He usually lines up in the box.
Malik Gaylord will receive the ball about the 3-yard line. Runs backwards. He's got to quickly outrun his defender. Shakes the defender. Airs it out. Gives this one over to Eldridge Joyce. The tight end scrambles up to the 20-yard line. A nice job there by Joyce. Only the second time he's touched the ball tonight and gets him down to the first down.
Yeah, and a fantastic job by Gaylord back there, shrugging off a defender and showing off the mobility there. It was all-out pressure by the Siege. They sent 4 guys after the quarterback. Nobody was there to guard the tight end.
Yeah, Nixon was the guy he shook off. Nixon got in there and just couldn't make the tackle, make it down low. And, you know, when you're a defensive coach, Matt Kayward up here to our left, he kind of shakes his head. But nice first down here for Eau Claire. Axemen on the 20-yard line. Low snap. Gaylord, Lowell's right. The man in motion and nothing doing there. Overthrows his defender. I think he was trying to go up the middle there. Looked like intended for Fowler, but nothing doing. It was overthrown.
Yeah, there you saw the Siege again just sending 4-man pressure, and once again you saw Joyce just slip out against it. That time Gaylord just sailed the throw a little bit.
So with 10 minutes left here in the first half, 24-13, Siege has owned the second quarter. It was a very back-and-forth battle first quarter, but Eau Claire trying to move the ball down here. Nothing doing on that one, with second down still on the 20-yard line. Twins to the right side, and a timeout called here by the Axemen. Actually, no, we have a delay of game, I believe. Another penalty here for... I've got them for 3 penalties this quarter already.
Yeah, they are the most penalized team, the second most penalized team in the league this year with 10. Once again, rearing its ugly head.
So now, ball going to be moved back to the 15, a 5-yard penalty, not helping their cause. After the long first down play, now you've got to gain another 5 on this one. Again, Twins to the right side, nobody in the backfield. Gaylord, Malik has it himself. Gets the ball, got some time to get rid of it, and gets that one over to Butler Jr. Shakes and bakes, gets back out to about the 20, 21. Gains back the 5 yards they had on the penalty, and that's about all right now. So really not much of a gain considering you lost 5 before that. Kind of balances out.
Yeah, a bit of a switch there. I think you just saw the Siege in cover 2, having 2 safeties down the field, and then Simons just pressing and then dropping into that flat area, but Butler just a little bit quicker, able to make a move on him and pick up decent yardage.
So ball back at the 20-yard line. I have deja vu here tonight. 3 receivers to the left side, 3 up men, nobody in the backfield. I like what the Axemen are doing here. Back to throw again, Gaylord. Takes it himself, runs up the lane, taking it himself, the quarterback. Ball comes out, that's a fumble. Nebraska Siege is on top of it. Wow, that's what you didn't need if you're the Axemen. He had a great run, had open field, and just couldn't squeeze the rock.
Yeah, what a job by Isaiah Nixon coming in from behind and then just eyes on it and getting a strip and a clear recovery from the Siege, as we'll see what the white hat has to say.
It was Nixon. Boom, knocks it down right at the 20-yard line, and falling down on top of it was McCall. Ooh, they're going to say it wasn't a fumble. They said the quarterback has slid and gave himself up. And the Boo Birds are here in Nebraska right now, in Grand Island.
Nixon had 5 forced fumbles in his college career, and there you saw again.
Boy,
I think they're going to flip this, Josh. I think that was.
We have a challenge flag down there from Coach Vermonti.
I think he'll end up winning this one.
I don't honestly don't see him being down. The referees have been fantastic tonight, but that call I don't agree with. He wasn't down until he stripped the ball. Until they stripped the ball, he wasn't even on his way down. He was running right down the lane.
Now what they're reviewing here, Josh, is if he was giving himself up, because the quarterback is down from the point where they start their slide. When they start their slide, that's when they're ruled down. Even if their knee isn't down yet, that's when they're giving themselves up. So the question is, what had Gaylord started his slide yet when Nixon came from behind with the strip?
In my mind, he hadn't. I think the ball had stripped, and that's when he started sliding. So they're going to go over to the replay and talk this one over. And Dominic Bermonte having a little conversation, if you will, down on the field there with the referees. He's got a legitimate argument. This is a tough one. This is a tough call. I honestly, again, I don't think he was sliding before the ball was stripped. I don't think he was trying to give himself up because he had an open lane.
Yeah, I'd have to see it one more time there, but I do think they're going to end up flipping this.
So, yeah, I believe you're right. That was a nice challenge here by Vermonte, and this is the big momentum. This is the big point in the game right now, Luke, is, Siege just scored. The momentum's on their side. Eau Claire came out and had that big 20-yard run from the touchdown. Yeah, they had the penalty. They got the 5 yards back. So, again, a back-and-forth battle here for the Eau Claire Axemen. And so this is a big play. This is a big momentum change and a really big play in this game. Because if you get this back, if this gets overruled, it's going to be 4th down. And instead, they're going to have to replay 3rd down. So White Hat making his way out now.
Yeah, this is something that the Siege defenders do well. They forced 2 fumbles. Both of them were by Evan Simons.
It did get, you were right, Luke. It got flipped. So that was a strip and a Siege ball.
Yeah, that's a heck of a play by Nixon. Just coming up from behind, not giving up the play. And that's the extra effort that wins teams games. Just motoring, and then a nice job by McCall falling on the ball.
Nixon has gotten in there a couple times tonight, and he shook him off. But this time he says, oh, yeah, you shake me off, but I'm stripping the ball.
Yeah, this is the strength of the Siege defense. Their best players are their linebackers. Jason Serda, Isaiah Nixon, and Jaleel Holmes. And then a lot of times Evan Simons in there, too, as kind of a box safety. But those are the best players on the defense, and they show you why.
Isaiah Nixon back in his had 94 tackles in the day back at Sam Houston State, also Texas State. 63 of those were solo tackles for him. Siege have the ball on the 23-yard line. Mosey rolling around to the 20, the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and he's finally pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line. A good 20-yard run there for Mosey.
And here is just the Siege stacking plays on top of each other, and that's what they do so well. They just break the other team's will by stacking good plays on top of each other. Once they get the momentum, they just don't let go of it.
And they have, such well-conditioned. They wear guys out. We saw that the first 2 weeks. They just wear guys out. And this is those plays that they wear them out physically. These guys start 5 o'clock in the morning, start practices. In the end zone, and Davis again for another touchdown. That one about a 12-yarder, and he's been the favorite receiver tonight of Caleb Lowe.
Great utilization of the play action there, faking the handoff and then just waiting for Kevin Davis to come through on the slot. And that's another play in arena football that's just so hard to time, and that's why it's so impressive to me with these arena quarterbacks being able to get the ball off on time. That is a quick hitting play, and if the timing's not just right, it's an interception. Great job by Lowe getting the ball in there to Davis.
Davis came into this game with 2 touchdowns on the season. He's got 2 already in this game tonight, so doubled his total. They're going to go for 2 once again from the 10-yard line. Roll, lowering right is Lowe. Airs it out, gets it up, and no, knocked away. Intended for Brown, and good defense there by Eau Claire. Knocking that one out was Tariq Mann. So again, Nebraska not able to execute the extra point, but nonetheless, it's 30-13 with 7 minutes left here in the first half.
Yeah, great play by Mann on the extra point, but we mentioned earlier, Kevin Davis has been the guy in this one. Most of the season, it's been Songa Yates, sometimes Vince Brown that have been the go-to guys. Davis has been utilized a lot, but not quite as much. He had 5 receptions coming into the game, doubling that total today with 5 already just in the first half, and then another 2 touchdowns to also double his total there.
You know what really surprises me? We haven't seen Elijah Gray. He scored the touchdown earlier. He had a 6-yard touchdown. We haven't even seen him on the field since then. So I'm hoping something didn't happen to him, because usually he's the guy you want out there.
Yeah, he's been utilized on defense some in this one too, but they've used Mosby a little bit more as a running back.
That one just missed the scoreboard. Back to receive this one and not getting anywhere is Magby. In fact, that might be a safety.
It's going to be right on the line. We'll see where they spot him. If they give him a safety or they put him down at the 1.
They might
Either
put him
way,
at the 1.
Not a good play for the Axemen.
Yeah, Sequoia Magby didn't see that ball good at all and took the wrong route. He rolled left and maybe should have kept going right. And it is not going to be a safety, it doesn't look like.
And these siege defenders are just so sound tackling, and that's what I mentioned with these linebackers being the strength of the defense. Holmes, Serta, Nixon, and Simons when he's in that box too. They're so good at tackling, and that's what makes them such strong players, and that's why other teams can't run the football on them.
Eau Claire in desperate need of some points. 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, all siege here for Nebraska right now. Need a momentum switch. They've had some big plays, not able to capitalize for the Axemen, and nothing doing there either. Magby eaten up like a free sandwich at buffet day. Just nothing doing there. Gets that one out to about the 3-yard line, maybe a gain of 1 if anything. Yeah, actually, I think they lost a yard perhaps.
We'll see what they have with the penalty, but there's another good play by these linebackers from the siege. There's Jaleel Holmes there.
There's going to be a white hat call here on the field, I think. Let's see. No, he's talking, but I don't know if his microphone's on yet.
He's still talking with the other officials.
But again, Sequoia Magby, they've read his play perfectly from the backfield. It's interesting they stopped using Butler in the back. They've been setting him as a receiver, and Magby's been used. So that's an offsides penalty, and another penalty here for the Axemen, Luke. I've got them for 4 in this quarter.
I think they just had a receiver lined up in the neutral zone, or maybe Butler on the bottom of the screen on the forward motion might have crossed a little early.
Too fast. I think you're right.
We'll see if they go back to Butler here. He's their most dynamic playmaker.
Simon's covering him. They do roll right. This one intended, but not able to pick it up. Sandifer kind of overran it. The ball was thrown behind him. Not a great throw there from the quarterback, Gaylord.
Sandifer, a weapon that Eau Claire added this week, I think. He didn't have any receptions last week. Been on the field a lot today. He's got more size than the other receivers for this Eau Claire team. So it'll be interesting to see if they utilize him more as this game goes on, or if they keep going to Butler and Murray, who have been their go-to guys most of the season.
You got about 55 yards to go here for Eau Claire, and you're on your second down going the wrong direction. So they need to get a big play. You definitely have to air it out. They look for Butler. He's open at the 5. Jumps up, catches it. You get out to about the 10, the 12. Finally brought down about the 13-yard line. And again, it wasn't a great throw. He had to jump up. He bobbled it a little bit, but made some good yardage afterwards.
And the speed of Butler was what made that play possible, because Simons was so scared of getting run by the fast Bo Butler that he gave him too much of a cushion, and then an easy 10-yard gain to move the sticks for Eau Claire.
So now you got the first down you need. You need to get a little momentum here for Eau Claire. Getting the ball down at about the 13-yard line, we'll call it. This time, man in the backfield is Magby. He does hand off. Sequoia Magby rolls left out to the 20, bounces off the wall, and that's where they're going to stop the play, about the 20-yard line. So a gain of about, I'm going to say 3 or 4.
Sequoia Magby not utilized very much last week. It was mostly Kendall Fowler, number 19, that was their primary running back. They've used him more on defense this week.
I'll say a gain of 7 on that one. So nickel and diamond, but you need a big play. You're down 30-13 here, Eau Claire. Let's see if they go to Butler. Butler maybe a little offsides, didn't call. Magby gets this one out to the 26, pushed back to about the 25, so give it about a 5-yard run there for Sequoia Magby. It's going to be third down, though, at the 25.
And Josh, I actually like the Axemen utilizing the run game a little bit more in the short pass game because there's no 17-point play. You can't get all this back in one go. But when they struggle offensively, it's when Gaylord tries to force the issue downfield. Throws a lot of those deep incompletions. Just picking up first downs and moving the football. If they can punch this one to the end zone, that's going to be key for the Axemen getting back in the game.
Blitz in here for the Siege, and Serta getting in there and knocking it down, but nice defense once again covered, and this time it was Evan Simons on it, but that was all Serta setting up that play, getting in there quickly.
Yeah, Simons a great job with another deflection there. He's been so good in coverage today. Usually he gets after the passer a little bit more. He's got a few sacks on the season, a few forced fumbles, but this game utilizing him more in coverage with Varian Cole not active.
So, yeah, great playing defense right now. You're right. They're using him up middle as a nose guard type position. And so it's a fumble snap. He didn't even know it was hiked. Gaylord trying to get rid of this one. Rolls out to the 5. Airs it out. Hail Mary to his defender. And, wow, coming up with it is Murray. And in for the touchdown. No. So they're going to say no catch. Wow, how did Gaylord even get that thing off? He didn't even know the ball was hiked. He was turned around backwards, picked up the ball, and made a crazy throw down to the end zone. But they're going to say incomplete pass, I believe.
Yeah, they're discussing it now, but some kind of miscommunication with the snap count, and then Gaylord just chucked it, and McCall never got his head around to see where the ball was, and now they're flipping it to a touchdown.
They are saying touchdown. Wow. I don't even, Gaylord wasn't even looking at the ball. He was still calling out the play, and the center hiked it, and the new center, there's Tolliver. Thaddeus Tolliver took over the center duties.
And there you have the right call, I think, by the official. I do think he completed the catch. But that's just John McCall not getting his head around. He was in great position to defend that pass against Murray, but just never saw where the ball was.
Perfectly placed, too.
Yeah, what a throw by Gaylord.
I'm going to say that was a 40-yard pass. In the end zone for 2, no good. And, well, they got the touchdown anyways. It's 30-19 now. And so Siege still leading with 2:18 left, but I still can't get my head around. He was still calling out the play. Tulliver hikes the ball. He picks it up, said, look what I got, Mom. Makes this perfect throw down to about the 5-yard line. Somehow the receiver came up with it, Murray, and got it in. And you talked about Murray. He was one of your guys you had bold printed on our stats, and this guy just impressed you from the beginning.
Yeah, Murray and Butler are their 2 guys offensively that they want to go to, and that's proved exactly right, as those are their 2 guys who have gotten touchdowns in this one. They're the guys that they want to throw the ball to. They're athletic on the outside. They give defenses fits, and they're doing just that in this game. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep going to them as this game goes on. That's going to be their recipe for success, I believe.
Definitely what Eau Claire ordered right there. They wrote the prescription and they filled it. Not like they drew it up at all, but they got in there, and I gave that a 40-yard play at least. So throwing this one off here is going to be Fowler. Receiving it is Mosby this time. Mosey, excuse me. He gets up to about the 14, so give him about 13 on the reception there, and that's where the Siege will start about the 15-yard line.
Yeah, both teams have flipped return men. Usually it's Davis and Butler for the Siege and the Axemen respectively, but this time it was Mosey, and then they've been using Maxby for the
Now there will be a 2-minute warning timeout, so probably one more play and then we'll take a timeout, but see what the Siege can do here with the ball on the 15-yard line. They have 3 touchdowns already, and we're going to have, they're going to say, oh, it is 2-minute timeout. We're 6 seconds off, so this will be your 2-minute timeout here. The Arena League football timeout from the Heartland Events Center in Grand Island, Nebraska, located on Fauner Park Fairgrounds. State Fair will be happening here in about a month and a half, 2 months. County Fair comes up into July. Right now there's some cattle events and show events that go on out here. Not in this arena, but in some other places. So lots of things that can do here at the Heartland Events Center. We'll take a break and come back. It is 30-19 Siege with the ball. This is the Arena League football. Welcome back to the Arena League football. Nebraska Siege and the Eau Claire Axemen. Siege lead this one 30-19 here at the Harlan Event Center in Grand Island, Nebraska. I'm Josh Salmon along with Luke McCard. Siege will take the ball here with 2 minutes left in the half. They've had 3 touchdowns this quarter, 1 for Eau Claire. Caleb Lowe receives the ball, hands off this time, gives up to Hampton, and nothing doing there. Pitbull in the pork chop, and Eau Claire read that one perfectly.
Yeah, and the Siege will have to hustle a little bit to make sure they have enough time to score here, but not too big of a rush with just a 50-yard field.
Davis on the left, on the near side to us. Far side over there is Yates, and they've done a nice job of containing Yates. The Axemen have. Davis has 2 touchdowns. He rolls in and rolls back out. Loeb under pressure, throws it. Davis can't come up with it, and that's just good defense there by Eau Claire. Lowe is slow to get up.
Yeah, he just threw that one away, and actually a good job by Davis not catching that one because that would have been a huge loss if he did.
Tariq Mann getting in there. You also had James Dorer. It looks like Tariq Mann was the guy making the initial tackle on that one. He lost his helmet on the play, but nice job getting in, pressuring the defense. So 1:32 left here on the clock in the first half. We'll take a look at some stats and tell you about some other games going on around the league at halftime coming up. But Siege trying to get something going before that. His third down, ball on the 13-yard line. Lowe back to throw, got some time. Good defense there. Borer gives up his defender. This one goes to Hampton, and Lowe takes a hit. That's a late hit. He is down. Lowe was hit and pushed into the wall. That was a cheap shot against him, and he is still not up.
And we mentioned earlier with Gaylord getting hurt early in the game, these teams don't carry more than one quarterback, so if he goes down, that's going to be really hard, but I think he's going to be all right.
Well, Borer gave up on his defender. So Hampton got in there, and see 13's coming in, so you had Harvey getting in. That was Borer's coverage, and Borer just blew off his coverage, pushed off his defender, and then Harvey got in there. So that was partially Borer's fault. He just kind of gave up on that defender. He was the one that got in there. He did the hit, but that's a late hit. That's a big penalty.
Yeah, they really bailed him out because that flips. These personal fouls are huge because of the shorter field. A 10, 15-yard penalty flips the field for the team. So now the Siege were going to be in a tough 4th down situation where they'd have to decide what they want to do. Now, 1st and 10 and a short field to go.
15-yard penalty. I've got 5 penalties in this quarter right now for Eau Claire. Lowe throws up the middle. He says, I'm okay. Gets this one out to Vince Brown. Brown's tight end, stumbling around, gets out to about the 6-yard line. There's a helmet flying on the ground.
Yeah, and that's just another great job of utilizing the play action by the Siege. They had the fake handoff in the motion to Kevin Davis, and then just a quick pop pass to Vince Brown.
Richie Murphy's down.
These are the kind of plays that are usually RPOs in 11-man football when you have a full line where you can either hand it off or throw it to the short pass, what they call a pop pass, and that's exactly what that was there. Set up 1st down as Richie Murphy gets up and ought to come out.
He hasn't really been a factor. That kind of surprises me. He had such a good game last week against the Arkansas Diamonds that I thought we'd say his name a lot more. That's the first time we've said his name in this game.
Yeah, he was one of the 3 players I highlighted early on in the game. He was all over the field last week, but he's not been a huge factor today. But Dorer and Mann have been really good, as the Axemen are 3rd in the league in sacks, and they've showed why, as they've been applying heavy pressure just like the Siege have as well on the other side.
So now I think we're going to have a timeout. Nebraska wants to take a timeout. I like it too. Going to kind of regroup here. And maybe this is just to give another little breather here for Lowe as he comes in, and he took a hard hit over against the wall. It was a 15-yard penalty. And you look at these penalties, I've got 8 unofficial penalties in this first half for Eau Claire. And to me, that's a big difference in this game. Yes, there's a lot of scoring, but look at all the yards they gave up to give better field position for Nebraska to get them in those scoring positions.
Yeah, that's a big difference, as Eau Claire is the 2nd most penalized team with 15 coming into the game, and the Siege are the 2nd least penalized team with just 10 all season. So that's been a major factor, even bigger than I expected it to be here, as the Siege have a chance to make this a 3-possession game. They can punch it in.
So they discuss what they want to do here. What do? If you're Caleb Lowe, you've got Davis is coming off the field. You've got Hampton in the backfield.
Well, everything's in play here, Josh, because you have 28 seconds left, but you still have 2 timeouts to stop the clock.
Vince Brown out there. And Lowe takes it himself up the middle, gets out to about the 1 yard line. Caleb Lowe, I think he's feeling okay. Quarterback, first time he's ran it. This time he does get up holding that right arm, though. Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, great job. I don't know if that was a design read option or if he just kept that with the running back getting blown up by Murphy, but he just pulled that ball, and he could because he's right on the outside of that zone. The quarterback is not allowed to run at all inside of the 5 yard line, but he can still run within that run lane between the hashes. Anywhere outside of that 5 yard line, they're right on the 6, so he was able to do that. Nice job of pulling it and making a positive play, because that would have been blown up if he handed it off.
Yeah, Joshua Murray got in there and took the helmet to the arm of Lowe, and that's why he's still favoring that right elbow. He's moving around, but that was a stinger. He still hasn't straightened that arm up yet. He's out there. So let's see. Ball's going to be on the 2 yard line right now. You have 21 seconds here for the Siege, trying to get in one more time before halftime. Crowd's getting loud here at the Harlan Event Center, beating on the pads. Man in motion. They're not going to go that way. They're going to try it up the middle. Can't get it to go for the Siege. No gain. Maybe a loss on that one. So Hampton on the carry on that one.
So the Siege used their last timeout there, so now probably want to go through the air on these last 2 attempts just to make sure you don't run out of time. You can still run the ball, but you have to get up really quick to snap it on the next play. So I bet the Siege are calling 2 plays in the huddle now. You only need 2 yards. A lot of different ways they can go with this, Josh.
Yeah, I'll see what you give it to. You know, they've been lining up Vince Brown on the outside as a receiver this time. They've been putting Elijah Gray kind of on that tight end position on the right on the front line. And I really like how they kind of use Gray. Like you said, they've been using him more on the line than with his legs in the backfield. You've got so many weapons, you can do that on this team. So again, out to the right this time for the Siege is Brown. Vince Brown is the tight end, and you have David Brown as the receiver.
I bet they're going to Vince Brown here, coming in vertical motion. There it is.
Vince Brown picks it up, and he's in for the touchdown. What can Brown do for you? He is in there. It's just a matter of which Brown who's going to get the ball. This time it is Vince. I talked about him earlier. Surprised they haven't utilized him. There, his is 6. And he's giving the football away to a kid in the crowd.
Yeah, you can see Vince Brown lined up differently there. He's usually lined up as a tight end. That time they split him out, used that vertical motion on him. Everybody and their dog knew that they were going to throw it to Vince Brown, but just beats his man. And then nice jump ball to that 6'5" frame. Easy touchdown for Vince Brown.
So that's the first touchdown for Vince Brown. The 4th of the quarter here for the Siege. And now 11 seconds, see if they can convert their first PAT. Hampton in the backfield. Again, they line up David Brown on the right. This time Gray running in. Let's see if they get the ball to him. He's a receiver this time, Low. Actually, Yates is the quarterback and throws it away. He's trying to go to Brown.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there.
Caleb wasn't even out there. Lowe wasn't even out there.
The game, put Yates at quarterback, and he threw a pass right on the money to David Brown. Had his chance for his first reception with the Nebraska Siege right off his fingertips.
Yeah, I like the idea. It was no good, but it is 36-19 as the clock wears down here. We'll have 11 seconds. We'll go to halftime. We'll keep it right here, right now. Look at the scoring drives in this quarter. You had Davis. It's been the Kevin Davis show. He's got 2 this quarter. He had 1 for 25. He also had 1 for 12. Yates has 1 for 31 yards in there. But Joshua Murray had a 40-yarder and a crazy good pass on a play that was almost muffed from the beginning for Eau Claire. And then Vince Brown with the 2-yarder just a moment ago. Back to receive once again, putting Butler back out there as we've seen a couple other guys, Magby. So now Butler's getting a call. Yates throwing it off once again. It's a high throw. Good one into the end zone. That's where Butler will pick it up. Gets up to the 5 and wrestles out of a tackle. Gets out to about the 7 and then finally brought down. Well, he got past the first defender, but then not able to get past his second one, and that was Kevin Davis on the tackle as well. So Davis out there everywhere, man.
Yeah, with arena football, these are small rosters. These guys have to play all 3 possessions. A lot of them play both offense and defense. Everybody has to be able to play special teams. And that's going to be, I'm surprised that Butler's okay, as he took a shot on that one with Davis still on his leg.
Yeah, Kevin Davis making the defensive play out there. So you have one chance. You have 3 seconds on the clock here. If you're quarterback, we might talk about targeting here. This is what they're discussing on that one. Ooh, this could be interesting now. Did you see the targeting call?
Yeah, I think they're going to review that just with Butler potentially being a defenseless player since Davis had his leg and he was giving himself up. I think that's what they're going to review, and they might have a solid case.
So, yeah, the league rule is if you just fall down and hold the ball up, that's giving yourself up, and that's kind of what it looked like he did.
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance they rule Butler a defenseless player.
Hold all tickets at this point. 36-19. Eau Claire, this would be a big penalty for them with just 3 seconds left on the clock. If they can get a 15-yarder, this will get them down there. And, you know, quarterback is very capable of doing something. Malik Gaillard. Coach Vermonti and the Siege coach wanted to know what's happening here. And it's kind of a fine line when the guy gives himself up, you know, on a play. He shaked the defender once, and then he kind of fell down. And so did he give himself up, or was he brought down? That's what they're discussing. Here comes the white hat back out on the field to see what is happening. What's going to be the call here as he stops at the 20-yard line. What will it be? So it's no targeting. It's worth reviewing, though. Definitely worth reviewing. And so the ball going to be at the 9-yard line. You have one chance, 3 seconds. You're going to air this thing out. If you're the Siege, you want to get in there as quick as you can, not allow Gaillard to get a good throw off.
Yeah, and this is a scary situation here as the Siege defensive backs are not always the best down the field.
We have a defensive back and then 3 guys playing safety. And, oh, boy, right in and out of the hands. You feel bad for Eldridge Joyce because he had a lot of room to run, but that's going to go to the halftime with the Siege leading this one 36-19 here on the American League Football YouTube channel. At halftime, we'll take a look around the league. Different scores coming up. We'll come back and retaliate this one, too. It is Arena League Football here on YouTube. Welcome back to Arena League Football halftime from the Harlan Event Center here in Grand Island. It's Siege leading 36-19. The score doesn't really dictate. It's been a back-and-forth battle. This first quarter, Luke, was really, really close together, but that second quarter, it was pretty much all Nebraska, and a lot of that was just because Eau Claire penalties. I mean, I had 5 penalties, and they gave up a ton of yards and gave great field possession. Yeah, and the Siege always do a really good job of making adjustments as the game goes on. That's a huge strength of Coach Vermonte, and a huge reason why the Siege have had so much success is because they're always making adjustments. When the things don't go their way, they make changes, and then you saw that with the defense, adjusting coverages, moving Simons to
play on the outside rather than in the box. That helps a lot. Cunningham started playing a lot better down the stretch, and that's a big reason why the Siege were able to have more success later in the game.
You had the first downs of 5 there for the Siege. You had 5 for the Axemen as well. But look at the turnovers, 3 officially there. Penalty yards, 30. That's what I was talking about. That's some big stuff there. 6 penalties for 30 yards, giving up all that possession there by the Axemen with those 3 turnovers. And it's been a pretty clean game for Nebraska on this one. Just the 1 turnover, 1 sack, 1 penalty, and just 5 yards given up. And that's something they haven't given up a whole lot of yards on all season on penalties. So, and they also gave Caleb Lowe a lot more time to throw. We didn't see that in the first quarter. They were all over him, and he had a little bit more time to throw. And when you give playmakers time, he makes plays. Yeah,
and the stats don't really show with only 1 sack for each side, but both teams have been applying heavy pressure. And that's the thing with arena football, and especially in this league. There are no restrictions about how many people you can blitz, how many people you have to have in coverage. So a lot of the times, both these teams are sending 3-man pressures, 4-man pressures, and there's really no way to block that because you only have 7 players, and you have to send some out for a route. So if it's all-out blitzes from both teams, it's not always on the line, and you can't really just blame the tight ends and the centers a lot of the time because of the way the league is formatted. It's just really tough situations for those guys to be put in, and
so
that's why you have to have those mobile quarterbacks.
Take a look at some highlights here as we look at the scoring. Nebraska got it going early with right in the first play. 15 seconds off the clock, begin the game. He went out to Songa Yates, had a touchdown from 27 yards out, and it would end up being a really good touchdown run to kind of get the momentum going for them. After that, they said, hey, we're not done yet. This one from just 6 yards away, give it to Elijah Gray for his first one, puts it in. It's 12-0 Siege. But battling back, don't rule out the Axemen. Give this one over to Josh Murray, and he makes it a crazy good catch in the end zone down for 25 yards. They're on the board. They convert the extra point right here, and they'll make it 7-12 now, and that ended up being a good point. They took the lead in a moment with another touchdown. This time, Siege air it out, give it back over to Kevin Davis, and he goes in for the touchdown, and that's his first of 2 in the quarter for 6. The extra point was no good. Back to Eau Claire, though. They said, hey, we're not done. Another great throw down the field, but nope, picked off. No soup for you. This one coming down for the Siege with it. Lowe airs it out for the touchdown, this time to Yates again in the end zone, and that makes it 24-18. And so now Yates gives that one away. Touchdown. Davis with a second touchdown. He only had 2 coming in to today at all. There's the muffed fumble, but a great play here by Gaylord to throw it way down there, 40 yards on the play. Murray comes up with it, says, I got it into the end zone, and everybody's stymied about that. How did he come up with that ball?
Play of the game. That was an insane throw.
And then back to throw, Vince Brown going for the touchdown. He says, yes, what can Brown do for you? I can do this right here. He's delivering.
Yeah, how about the strength on the hands of Vince Brown to hold that one in?
36-19 halftime as we got some entertainment going on. People throwing some footballs on the field. Coming back, we'll take a look at the schedule here for the Arena League, and we'll also talk about a big playmaker in the week. We'll go to St. Joe, as that's who the Siege will see next week, and a good playmaker there. We'll get to him as the player of the week in the league here on the Arena League football. At halftime, Siege leading 36-19 here at the Harlan Event Center in Grand Island. Luke, what are you looking for Eau Claire to do here? A quick little synopsis. What they need to do in the second half.
Yeah, I
First
think
of all, penalties.
They got to keep getting the ball to their playmakers. Butler and Murray, those are athletic playmakers on the outside. I had them highlighted coming into the game. Those are going to be the game changers, and you have to keep exploiting where you have the advantage. The linebackers for this Siege defense are so good. Defensive back, that's where they're weak. So you have to exploit where you are strong and where the other team is weak, and that's going to be the key to success for them.
Next week, the Siege will be on the road to St. Joe. That's the team that they're tied with in their division with. As for Eric Eau Claire, they'll return home and host Iowa. You have Ozarks for Arkansas, as at Arkansas, and then you also have Monroe at Memphis for week number 4 next week. So,
yeah, 2 interesting games going on today as well, with Memphis facing off against the Ozarks Lunkers. That one interesting because Memphis rebounded and had a really nice week after losing to the Siege week 1. The Lunkers had a good game week 1, but then got the doors blown off of them by the Goats last week. And then the Arena League game of the week was the Monroe Greenheads versus the Arkansas Diamonds. So interesting to see how those all turn out.
Yeah, and St. Joseph has just really been playing well this year. You look at, going to go the player of the week here for St. Joseph. I mean, they passed, this season they passed for 675 yards. And so there's the offensive player of the week, Trujillo. Look at this catch in the end zone for him for 6.
Yeah,
What a great
7
throw.
passing touchdowns in this game. Angelo Trujillo was on one.
There's
against
another
the
one,
Lunkers.
one-handed pulling it in. Trujillo says, I'm not done yet. Look at that. He deserves a little dance on that one. They go back up the middle. Here's Trujillo again in the middle and tracking this one down.
And Trujillo, interesting because he's a returning player from the league, was one of the best quarterbacks in the league last year as well.
It's time to go to somebody else, but now back to St. Joe, just doing a lot of good things on offense, and that's going to be a tough game for the Siege next week, especially on the road.
Yeah, if both teams can hold on here, the Siege and the Goats both playing 0-2 teams this week. If they can both come away with victories, that's going to be a really interesting one to watch as both teams go into that game at 3-0. The Siege have the number 2 offense and the number 1 defense in the league this year, according to points per game and points against. Goats flip. They have the best offense in the league, second best defense in the league. That's going to be an absolute showdown next week.
So for me, if you're for the second half of this game, we look at Eau Claire. We really haven't said Murray, the defender there, his name too much, and they need to find a way to use him. He did such a nice job last week on defense. Richie Murphy I'm talking about. We've only seen him one time, and that's when his helmet came off on a play. So you need to find a way to use him on defense. You need to stop the throwing play. You know, Siege came into this game, okay, we're going to run. Guess what? They've been doing it in the air. Keep the penalties down. Find some defense. And, you know, I think your offense really has been playing that bad, but you've just had so many penalties that you haven't had a chance to do much.
Yeah, the Siege have had a little bit different approach offensively in this game. It's mostly been small plays that add up to big things as they utilize a lot of screen passes, short passes to Yates and Davis. This time has been a little bit different. They've hit several long plays down the field, long passes to Davis, one to Yates, a couple to Brown. So that's been interesting to see, and Caleb Lowe's been very accurate with the ball. That was my big question coming into the game. If it comes down to it, can Caleb Lowe make the throws down the field, deep passes? And so far, he's been on the money.
You know, and I would also like to see Eau Claire get some better field position. They really haven't started good with field position at all on any of the throw-offs. And that's Yates is going to go throw, but they've had some opportunities and not able to capitalize them. So that's a huge part in this small field. You need to get some good field position and try to get something going there if you're Eau Claire.
Yeah, the kick returns were going to be one thing I thought was going to be a big factor in this game. Thus far, hasn't really been the case. Davis and Butler haven't really been able to get loose. We'll see if that's the difference in the second half.
And I think that the Axemen are a little bit confused by the Siege playing different guys up front. We talked about Elijah Davis playing on that front line. You know, you see him in the backfield. All of a sudden, Hampton, a new guy on the roster, having a hard time defending him. You've used Kevin Davis more as a wide receiver. And so I think, you know, you watch film, and the first 2 games were kind of the same thing, cookie cut. I mean, same guys in the same positions. And so when you're watching the film, you think, okay, this is how we're going to defend him. And then you get there, and there's different guys on the field. You know, it's adapt and change, and really the Claire Axemen haven't adapted that well to those changes.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see. On a positive note for Eau Claire, Malik Gaylord has done a great job of handling the Siege pressure.
Crazy.
We knew his mobility was good. It's been a huge factor in this one. The Siege defenders are second in the league in sacks, as they're always on the other team's quarterback, bringing them down to the ground. This time they only have 1 sack in the first half, and that's because of Gaylord. He moves around the pocket really well, and he's been able to make really good throws and throw the ball accurately. That was one thing I didn't know for sure if that was going to happen for them. He's done a really nice job. That's a good sign for them in the second half.
Well, that play, the missed play on the snap, he didn't even know the ball was coming. He turns it off, makes his 45-yard throw, and picture perfect right in the chest and the breadbasket of Murray over there. I mean, that shows you right there what that guy's capable of, his arm. And so if his team gave him, you know, more opportunities to get rid of the ball like that, if they, you know, had better field position, he could make some more things happen. I really look for the Axemen to come out early in this third quarter, kind of fired up with a little momentum. I think they're kind of a bad taste in their mouth right now, and get something going quick and early in the third quarter.
Yeah, and the game almost has a closer feel than the score shows. It's a 17-point game, but it's just been a couple big turnovers from the Axemen that have been the difference. If they can take care of the ball, not get penalized, it's going to be a close second half.
36-19, Nebraska Siege leading. Big second half for the Siege with 5 touchdowns to just the 1 there for the Axemen. But you got a whole second half of game, so let's see what's going to happen here from the Harlan Event Center in Grand Island. Everybody smiles and waving over there in the end zone. People are happy here watching the football game, and this is a fun thing with the Arena Football League. Appreciate everybody coming out and enjoying the football tonight on a night where there's a lot of things going on in Nebraska. You've got the Banana Ball, College World Series, but this is football here at the Harlan Event Center in Grand Island. Back, second half action getting ready here from Nebraska. It is Grand Island, Nebraska, the Harlan Event Center. Josh Salmon, Luke McCard with you as the Siege had a really good second quarter. You look at the score and you say, okay, they dominate the second quarter. Well, they dominate the first half, I should say. They dominate the second quarter is what I'm trying to say. The first half was anybody's game, but second quarter really dominated by the Siege.
Yeah, and the one thing in this game that played towards the script was the Siege giving up a few big plays on defense. They're super solid up front, like I've said so many times, in the linebacker position, defending the short passing game and the run game, but what they struggle in is giving up big plays. That happens too much for them. It's been the case in this one. All of the Axemen's touchdowns have come on long passes or have been set up by long passes, and that's been the difference in the game. The way back in for the Axemen is connecting on a couple deep balls. They can't force the issue down the field because that's when they run into troubles, and that is why Gaylord has the worst completion percentage in the league, because he throws so many passes down the field. But if he can connect on a few of those, they could be right back in this game in a hurry.
Yeah, and the Axemen need to defend Kevin Davis a little bit back. Keon Davis, he's back here. Kevin Davis with the 2 touchdowns in this game. He had 2 coming into this total in the season. So if they can find a way to utilize him, make low throw to somebody else. Davis will pick up the ball, gets it about the 5-yard line, gets out to the 10, jots around to about the 11. He's thrown back down to about the 10-yard line. We'll see where they spot this one.
Yeah, the coverage has been really good this game for the Axemen on the kickoffs.
Yeah, neither team has gotten very much field possession to start with on the throw-offs. So we'll see what happens here. You're going to have to earn it today. Lowe is out there at quarterback. He does have that elbow wrapped up, though. He took a couple good hits. Took a helmet to the arm. Took one full body into the wall earlier in that second quarter, and he's beaten bruised. But
yeah, that could potentially be a big factor in this second half if he's not able to throw the ball like he normally can.
So wide receiver is Yates. Man in motion is Davis. Let's see if they go. They cut the middle. The handoff this time goes to Mosey, and Mosey not able to mosey very far. It gets back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing. Nice defense there by Yaffe Harvey.
Yeah, he did a great job. Just shot right through the gap and then wrapping up and not letting go of those legs to shut down the run game.
So now 2nd down. Ball on the 14, so they gave maybe 1 yard on that one.
Axemen have done a really nice job against the run in this game.
Davis out as the receiver. Man in motion is Yates. See if they go to Yates. They go back to Davis up the middle. He can't come up with the ball. Nice coverage there by Josh Murray. And Joshua Murray's been everywhere. Offensive, defensive. The guy's a dude.
Yeah, playing both sides of the ball. He is one of the most important players for this Axemen team. And you saw Sander get beat multiple times in coverage, allowing, I believe, 3 touchdowns in that first half. So not in the game right now, using Murray instead.
Switching up the coverage a little bit. This time Murray on Yates. That's a fun matchup. Low, 3rd down. Nothing doing here. They haven't moved maybe a yard the entire time. Looking to throw. Davis just stops right at his route. Gives this one over to Yates. He was the decoy. Yates shakes the defender. He got out to 20 to the 23-yard line. I like the play there. As Davis ran up, just stopped like, okay, throw it to me. They thought he was going to go to him, and Yates was out there. He was the decoy. Davis was.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier in the game with Butler on the other side, but just the speed of those two players, Yates and Butler, a huge factor because Murray had to be so far off of the line of scrimmage because he didn't want to get beat deep, and then just a quick little stop route to set up a shorter 4th down for him.
So it is 4th down, ball in the 23. Lowe takes it himself, scrambles up the middle, and he's not going to get anywhere. Met by a pack of Axemen heading into the forest. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, the Siege never go under center. That's a play where maybe you see if it was the Philadelphia Eagles, just a good old-fashioned tush push there. It was quarterback keep all the way. He was patient, tried to see a lane, but ultimately the Axemen too solid up front to allow anything.
An interesting play call there. I really thought that maybe they would throw it. I mean, you're short, you're 25 yards, you're halfway the field. It's 4th down. I thought it was an interesting play to call and try to rush it up the middle.
And I actually like the call. It's the same play that they were able to pick up about 6 yards on the other side of the field, but Brown just couldn't hold on to his block long enough to get Low across the line.
Malik Gaylord has the ball. There's a flag on the play. This might be an offsides. Let's see what happens. Picking up the ball is Magby, rolls around the 15 to the 10 to the 5, and going to be close to the 1st down, but this may come back. We might have had an offsides.
Yeah, this is either a huge play for the Axemen or it's going to be a false start.
Let's see what the call is going to be here. I think it's going to be a false start, but
I think you're right.
Just the way, as quickly as the flag came out. But, another penalty for the Axemen. They've been their own worst enemy.
Yeah, it's another illegal motion. You can have one person in forward motion and one person in horizontal motion. There you saw Sequoia Magby turn up the field at the end of his route. He was supposed to be the man in horizontal motion, but then kind of took a wheel towards the line of scrimmage. The referee all over it. Good call to back up the Axemen.
So we talked about those penalties in the first half for them, and this time they hurt themselves on offense. So all receivers out, nobody in the backfield. Quarterback by himself, Gaylord. Back to throw, runs it up the lane. Ooh, puts a hand down, back up the lane, zigs and zags. They're going to say he ran out of the lane. Flag is down. I think they're going to say that's illegal.
There's a chance they could get a hold, too, on Skarmus maybe, but how about the agility by Gaylord on that play? Weaving back and forth to try to get back into the run lane and take the ball. We'll see what they get the penalty. I do think it's against the Axemen, but of greater concern, Gaylord a little slow to get up for the Axemen.
Ooh, there might be a late hit call here by Serta. Let's see, because he was clearly trying to go down on this one. This might be the beat here is there was a late hit call.
There's no flag down on where the ball ended up.
It was back in the field, so yeah, I still think it's a quarterback thing. He started out of the lane, back in the lane, then back out of the lane. And you can't do that if you're the quarterback. You got to run it in the running lane. Assistant coach, they're not very happy now.
My bet's on holding. We'll see what we got.
Yep.
Good thing you didn't put down any money, Josh.
Hey, we're even now. I had the one earlier. One right before this, I was right. So if we're keeping track at home, it's one for Luke, one for Josh. So another penalty on offense, almost in consecutive plays now for the Axemen, and it's just been a really tough day at the office for them penalty-wise. Lots of hankies on the field.
Yeah, that's a big factor for the Axemen. The turnovers and the penalties are the reason they're down on the scoreboard by 17. And if they don't clean that up, it's going to be a rough second half for them.
As I was saying at halftime, lots of things going on in Nebraska. You've got the College World Series in Omaha. You had the Savannah Banana baseball team playing tonight in Lincoln. But we appreciate the Siege faithful making their way out here. And if there's any, I haven't seen any Axemen fans, but there might be some here. There's people that travel with the team, those diehards. My hat's off to those people. I've never been able to travel with my sports team that I cheer for. I would like to, but. So, water break here. I think we're taking a. Discuss this thing over and actually reviewing the play to see what's happening as the umpires are over there in the far corner where we were last week. We're up top now in the concourse here at the Heartland Event Center.
Now, Josh, I think it's going to be a review, as you said, on the hit by Serta at the end of the game. Potentially looking at either a late hit or maybe even targeting. I'd have to see the play again to know for sure what happened.
Now, would you have offsetting penalties, do you think? Because you had one, I think, originally on the Axemen. I think it's why the flag went down, but then they're reviewing their one at the end, too. That would be an interesting call. I
think it depends a little bit on whether the play occurred after the play was over, because then it would be enforced at the end. But if it occurred during the action before he was down, then they would become.
Well, we're almost 3 minutes into this quarter and nobody scored, so it started off different than the first two quarters of this game, the first half of this game.
Yeah.
People scored right away. And so I said look for the Axemen to come out fired up on this one. They've had a couple of penalties on offense, not helping themselves, but they're just one big play away from changing this momentum. They really haven't had the momentum they had in the first quarter. They had that really good momentum. I'd say the momentum was more on them. The score was pretty even. But the second quarter was all Siege momentum, and so Axemen trying to gain something back here to claw their way back in this one, down 36-19.
Yeah, they really haven't established any kind of rhythm on offense. A couple long pass plays down the field, maybe a few good intermediate passes to Bo Butler, but it's mostly been just those couple big plays that have sparked the offense for the Axemen, and a couple drives were stalled by those turnovers, and that's, like we mentioned, the penalties and the turnovers, those kill drives, and that's been what's hurt the Axemen.
This is a long review here by the umpires, so the referees will see what's going on here.
After review, there was a hit on defensive court back, a personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty from this play will be first down after the 10-yard mark-off for holding.
So both are enforced, but it is an automatic first down because it's a personal foul.
So there was two penalties on the play, one on each team. So we were both right.
Yeah.
On that one. There was the penalty in the backfield, and then there was the late hit on Serta, as they're showing right now on that one. That was the one that I saw.
Yeah, Serta always plays hard out there, but just too much there. Couldn't lay off, getting a little extra contact.
And that was the right call.
Yeah.
Vermonte wants a...
Yeah, Gaylord clearly gave himself up there at the end of the play. Serta got to pull up his momentum.
Jason Serta hasn't been much of a defensive force here in this one. As it's kind of the same way for Richie Murphy for Eau Claire. Those guys said their names a lot in the past couple of weeks, and they've been pretty well defended and not been able to get much going.
Well, Josh, they're very similar players, just kind of spark plugs in the middle of the field that always give more effort than anybody else on the field. And Serta made a few good plays early in the game, but hasn't been as much of a factor lately.
So Malik Gaylord will receive the ball. Rolling left and does go up the middle. Gives this one over to Brian Sandifer. It will be a first down. Nice play there by Eau Claire.
And there gets
the 11-yard line.
His first reception of the game. He has a very large frame out there. Probably stands around 6'5". It's a big difference maker for the Axemen if they can get in the ball a little bit more. In a similar way that Vince Brown brings a big frame for the Siege, does the same thing.
So they have Sandifer on the left side along with Butler. Butler was almost offsides in that play. He was, almost right there. They go back to Sandifer again, and nothing doing. Brought down, good defense there by Nebraska. Getting in quickly on the tackle was Evan Simmons. We haven't said his name a whole lot, but he's done some key blocks tonight, key plays.
Yeah, Simons has done a nice job moving outside. He's usually in the action. He's got 3 sacks on the season. Plays in the box a lot of tackles in the run game, but this time making a good play on the outside with Varian Cole not active. they've had to try a few different people out there. He's held his ground very nicely.
Last week, just 221 yards on the field, which isn't too bad. Still losing that game to Arkansas. Rolling right and way overthrowing his intended receiver was Gaylord.
Yeah, great job by the Siege there on the back end. They were in man coverage. Switch man on the other side, but just sticking with your guy. Those long plays can be really tough when you're in man coverage because you have to just stay with your defender and mirror him all the way. When Gaylord can create like that, it's dangerous, but a nice job at the red zone by the Siege.
Yeah, Magby with the intended receiver, but that pass was nowhere close. And so now you've got third down and a ball on the 9-yard line here. Let's see if they get something going here. Axemen need a play. They got a man open on the far side. He doesn't see him. Goes the other way, throws this into the crowd. He did have Magby open on the opposite side, but his body's running this way, and there's a flag on the play.
I think maybe we're going to have a holding. That's in the area of where the flag is. But that time you had zone coverage from the Siege on the backside, just making a wall along the goal line, and Gaylord couldn't find anybody.
Yeah, Gaylord didn't look to the top. He had Magby up there, and it would have been a little bit of an awkward throw, but he's a good quarterback. We've seen him make those throws tonight. He didn't even see Magby. It is holding. And again, another penalty here for Eau Claire.
So interesting, Josh, they will decline it. So you have a chance to move them to 3rd and goal from about the 18-yard line, but instead electing to put all their eggs into one basket here. 4th and goal from the 8 for the Axemen.
Eau Claire, 7 turnovers coming into this game, and they've had at least, I've got 12 so far, and 8 in the first half. So trying to get something going here. Gaylord looking, he's got all kinds of time to throw this one, and almost runs over the line of scrimmage and into the bound. Boy, I think he almost ran past the line of scrimmage there. Nice job by the Siege. No pressure. I'm not sure who the intended receiver was, but that thing was just thrown in the turf.
Yeah, bend, don't break. Great job by the Siege on defense. And this is what we mentioned with the Axemen at the top of the broadcast. They are worst in the league in red zone efficiency, just 1 for 8 on the season when they get inside the 10. And that's been another factor today. They haven't been in that area a lot, but they're going to have to find a way as this season goes on to punch the ball into the end zone when they get those opportunities. They had 2 chances to win the game last week against the Diamonds. Inside the 10-yard line, couldn't convert. Once again, that's the case there, and a big moment after a long drive to give the ball back to the Siege.
We have a flag on Dominic Bermonte. He was all over the White Hats in his face about something, and he just got a flag thrown. And so Kevin Davis run over to Bermonte. Coach, take it easy, take it down. Bermonte's still not done talking there. I'm not sure what he's arguing about, but yeah. Dominic was not happy.
Not sure what that could have been about.
There will be no Christmas cards coming from Dominic Bermonte to that referee this year. Ooh, that's unsportsmanlike. That's a 15-yard penalty on the coach. And he was all up in his grill, and these refs have taken some ears tonight. But
I will say, if you have to have one, this is the spot to have it, because now it's just half distance to the goal instead of 15 yards.
So low back there still at quarterback, but he's got. We'll look at the replay here to see what's happening. Oh yeah, Bermonte wanted a holding call. They were trying to lift up the defenders. What happened there? Coach Kayworth came over and showed me. That's what Bermonte was arguing about.
Good pressure by the Axemen there to force Lowe to get rid of the football on first down.
So the Axemen were trying to pick up the defender and move him, and that's what Bermonte was saying. So anyways, we go to 2nd down and 10 here. Siege trying to get something going. No scoring here in the third half. We're at the exact same score we were at halftime. It's been a very evenly matched game. This looks a lot more like the first quarter without the scoring. Back up the middle for Yates. Up to the 15, to the 20, the 25. Ooh, almost a face mask. 19, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds there, and there is a late flag. This is going to be a face mask. Boy, that thing jerked his head back like a horse on the reins.
Great play design there. That's just a spot and go. They run that screen pass so much with Davis, and then Murray just absolutely bid on it. And then instead of blocking, they just stutter and go. They get the ball to Yates. Yates does what he does, makes a man miss, and then tack on the face mask at the end of the play.
Yeah, Yaffe Hardy can't do that one. Reaching out to grab face mask. And you know, Siege needed a big play. They got a big play, and now they're getting a gift as well. That's a 15-yard penalty. So you give away 15 on the coach's penalty, you get 15 back, and again, Eau Claire shooting themselves in the foot.
And that's what the Siege do. They will kill you with those short pass games, then all of a sudden they'll run something like that off a little twist. Instead of running the screen pass, they fake the blocks and go, get the ball to Yates in space, and we all know what he can do with the ball in his hands.
So you got Willie Michaela back in the playing safety back there right now for Eau Claire. Davis cuts up the middle. This one handed off, and it goes around to Gray. He had a touchdown earlier in the game. It's only about the second time he's touched the ball. He will scramble for about 4 or 5 yards, maybe 6. Elijah Gray. Nice job with the sweep to the right side. I like using Elijah back out there in the backfield.
Yeah, he does a great job. He's not a home run hitter back there in the backfield, but he always falls forward, gets a couple extra yards. It's a nice job in the backfield.
So, going to be 2nd down and 1 here. Siege threatening on the 7-yard line. Low back to throw, got time up the middle, looks for Davis. Guess who? He's in there for the touchdown. Kevin Davis for his 3rd of the night, Luke, and the first scoring of the second half belongs to Nebraska Siege.
Another classic man beater there, easy route with a natural pick play where you had Brown running the corner and then Davis just nice and patient, runs the in route underneath it and beats Murray in coverage for the touchdown.
Kay Davis, 3rd touchdown of the night. As I said before, he only had 2 all season. 3 here against Axemen so far. Going to go for the 1 extra point here on the PAT or the Siege. Start at the 5-yard line. Again, Gray in the backfield. Let's see if they hand it off, if they're going to throw. Probably going to go to throw. And they go up the middle, intended for Davis, nothing doing. And again, Nebraska continues to fail on the PAT.
Yeah, they haven't converted a single one in this game so far. They're usually pretty solid on those extra points, but nothing doing for them in this one.
42-19, and Nebraska strikes first. It takes about half the quarter to do it as football's flying up here in the crowd. Little footballs, but I like the play there. And again, those 2 big penalties comes back to me for Eau Claire. You, on offense, you had a big penalty, and then you give up another one on defense, a 15-yarder on the face mask, and it's just things like that that it's going to eat up Eau Claire on the bus ride home if they end up losing this one, because it's just those penalties that are fundamental football.
Yeah, and Josh, you have to capitalize on opportunities. When you get the ball that close to the end zone, you got to push it in. You can't come away empty that often on those red zone opportunities.
So Yates throws it out. This one hits the scoreboard and falls back down. He's been getting close all night. This one hit right off the scoreboard and came right back to him.
Yeah, Yates typically does a really nice job on those throw-offs, generating weird bounces that allow the coverage team to get down the field, but hit the ceiling a couple times today.
So we'll see how they rule this one, but I think you start at the 25, I believe. Yes. So good field position here is what Eau Claire needs. Axemen haven't really had good field position on a throw-off. This is a gift from Nebraska Siege. You need to take advantage of this and do something with it. Maybe you get it out to Butler. He's on the right side. On the near side towards us is Brian Sandifer. Nobody in the backfield but the quarterback, Malik Gaylord, discussing some things here with his guys. I think he's changing the play a little bit. 3 defensive backs and a safety for Nebraska in the back. And in motion is Butler Jr. Sandifer is looking for him. Back in there, making the sack. There's Serta. You're certified now by Jason Serta. He's been trying to get in there all night, and now serves up the sack lunch. That's a loss of about 10.
Yeah, they've been pressuring all night. That time they finally get home. Jason Serta bringing it down in the backfield. And I mentioned earlier, they're 2nd in the league in sacks. They get after the quarterback a lot, but finally get home on that one, and that's Serta's first sack of the year.
And if kids are watching this, look where he made the tackle. Okay, made it right around the thighs. You bring the guy down at the legs. Too many times you see him try to grab him up top. You grab him at the legs, nothing he can do. He's suspended. Lost a bunch of yards on that one. 2nd down ball on the 14-yard line. Long ways to go here for Eau Claire. We're going to have a timeout, I believe. Axemen want to talk some things over. Coach didn't like what he saw there on the field. So you had the scoring drive for the Siege. Now you have a big defensive play. Again, you're trying to gain momentum. So I've been talking about all game long. Siege dominated the momentum in the second quarter. So far, they've got it here in the third, about 6.5 minutes left.
Yeah, they tend to create those avalanches. They start with one big play, and then it just snowballs. They keep stacking good plays on top of each other, and that's how they come out to these big leads that they keep ending up in with the second half in these early games of the season.
Second down, ball on the 9-yard line. The lead trying to get rid of it, and again, this one, dishes it off at the last minute, and he's going to just get over the top. Let's see if they're going to call this. I think the ball was out of Ethan Skarmas. First time we've seen him in at tight end. Gets the ball, and I think he made it to the 1-yard line.
Woo. Yeah, just got rid of the ball to avoid the safety. Holmes came in free off the edge, had him wrapped up, and then nice job by Skarmas to get out of the end zone.
That's how good a quarterback, though, Gaylord is. We talked about it. How do you get rid of that ball?
And how about this? You start the ball at the 25-yard line, 2 huge losses, and now you're at the 1-yard line in third and 35.
So now in the backfield here, you've got Magby, and I think another timeout going to be called here by Eau Claire. They're getting a butt chewing out there from their coaches. They're lined up wrong. Oh, it's a delayed game.
Can't really move the ball any closer.
It moved about 2 inches. It's about a Hot Wheels difference between the ball and the end zone. Again, that's another penalty.
And this impacts, too, with the wall in the back of the end zone. There's no reason for the pocket. Another botch snap.
Gets it out, though. Butler Jr. to about the 1, and they're going to whistle the play dead. I think he made forward possession. But, boy, again, miscommunication. You have a new center out there. We talked about Thaddeus Tolliver. He wasn't the center until today, and a couple times we've seen some botched snaps today.
And, Josh, I think maybe they'll surrender this one. 4th and 35.
Not able to do anything. And, again, that's how good Gaylord is as a quarterback, though. He still got out of that. Enough snap, grabbed it, quickly got rid of the ball to somebody. I mean, he always knows where his guys are at. And, yes, they didn't score on it, but, I mean, how many quarterbacks would be able to get rid of the ball that quickly and still get positive yards on it?
Yeah, I've been very impressed with him so far in this game. Early on, looking at this game as I was doing my prep work, I wasn't really sure what we were going to see out of him. He's not always the most accurate passer in the film that I had watched, but he's really showed up to play today, and the 19 points on the scoreboard doesn't really accurately represent how he's been playing.
Lowe still back out there, this time Hampton back out to his right. From Savannah State College. Lowe to air it out. It's a long throw. Not able to get it. Just a little too long, intended for Yates, but a really nice throw by Lowe. Just a little too far, too fast.
Yeah, I showed off the arm strength a little bit there. I showed that his arm's okay. Just overthrew Yates. He's got speed, but not quite enough to run under that one.
Last week, the Siege threw. They had 249 yards total. In the red zone, they were 2 for 5. But they were sacked, let's see, 5 times. That one gives out to Yates, out to 20-yard line, and they're going to say a catch. No, that was Hampton again. Hampton out of the backfield as a receiver that time.
Yeah, really good catch by Hampton on that one. Can't really have much better coverage than Murray had there, but great concentration and hands to pull that one in.
Ooh, illegal motion on the offense.
We saw a couple of those on the Axemen, but I mentioned a few times, Arena League, you can have one person in horizontal motion, one in vertical motion. There they had 2 of a kind.
Second penalty of the second half here for Nebraska Siege. I've only got them 4 total penalties tonight. So this one will cost them a little bit, but they are leading 42-19, 3:44 left in the third quarter. Josh Salmon, Luke McCarg with you from Harlan Event Center in Grand Island, Nebraska. Appreciate you tuning in on your Saturday with us. Lowe zigzags, throws up the middle, gives this one off to Vince Brown. He goes out to the 15, to the 20, and we'll stop there right at the 20-yard line. So nice job, and that wasn't the play the way it was drawn up, but Lowe does a nice job at quarterback, and Vince Brown able to get open.
Yeah, I mentioned it a few times. This is what the Siege do so well. They don't put themselves in third and long situations. When they get backed up behind the sticks, they find ways to get short passes and make it easier on themselves on the critical downs.
So Vince Brown had a touchdown to wrap right before the end of the first half. And touches the ball this time. Man in motion is Yates. He runs up to the line of scrimmage and stops. And, ooh, I think he did. It was either him or Mosey. Mosey might have been over down here on the near side. I was watching Yates on the far side. He kind of slammed on the cartoon brakes at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they used that earlier with the hard count and got the Axemen to jump off sides, but that time I think Either Mosey or Davis was over the line. A pair of Miami of Ohio running backs, successful college careers.
So let's see. I think. Oh, wow. This one goes against Eau Claire. And yep, it was offsides there. It looks like Tariq Mann jumped over.
Man on the top of the screen.
Man overboard, you might say.
Yeah, Mann had 2.5 sacks last week. Does a really good job getting after the quarterback for the Axemen, but just jumping off sides there. Him and Dorr are very key players for the Axemen up front.
That's 7 penalties in the third quarter for Eau Claire. And I've got about 15 in the game. Right up the middle, there's Hampton out to the 12-yard line. More than enough for a first down for the Siege.
Yeah, Hampton in his first game here with the Siege. He's carried the ball 4 times already to match Mosey's total for the team lead. He's done a good job in his opportunities.
Joseph Hampton done an outstanding job from the backfield today, the way they've been using him. And he's a guy that had 775 yards rushing at Savannah State in 3 years there. Rolling to the backfield, wide open, Vince Brown for the touchdown. Boy, blown coverage there by Eau Claire. Nobody even near him. Willie McCaleb was the safety, and he wasn't anywhere near Vince Brown.
Yeah, wide open there, but here you're going to see on the replay a phenomenal blitz pickup by Hampton that made that possible. Dorr came in like a wrecking ball to try to get after Caleb. Hampton giving up a lot of size, just a trooper out there, laying down a great block so that Lowe can hit his wide open receiver.
They're going to let them finish this play. 1:53 left on the clock here. Mosey in motion, going to go for one for the PAT. Lowe rolling and dishes it off to Vince Brown. He's like, oh, I got it. He rolls left, gets some good blocking, gets in for the PAT. Just the way they drew it up. The old spaghetti noodle pass. Wow.
Yeah. And that's the unique thing about the Arena League with their tight ends. They can block, they can go out for passes. Usually that player would be ineligible in 11-man football, but that time he's able to just bring it in. Patience, sees where the defense is at, and runs it in for his 3rd extra point of the season.
First PAT of the night for Nebraska Siege. Caleb Lowe is really limping, though. He gets up tough on that one, and he is hurrying off the side here. He is hurting pretty bad. He took a hit on that one. 1:39 left here in the third quarter. It has been all Siege. It took them a while to get going here in the third quarter, but they have been rolling. Vince Brown with the touchdown and the PAT. Vince Brown, as you said, from Miami University, scored 256 yards, 3 touchdowns his junior year at Colorado State. 2-time letter winner at Colorado State in 2023 and 2024. He's a 2-year member of the football program at College of DuPage as well. Before that, 21-22. So played around, really high-toted prospect. This one back to Butler, running it out here. Butler Jr. cutting his way to the 15, out to the 16, finally brought down there by Simons.
Yeah, and you've seen both teams be close to breaking big plays, but just not quite able to find it on the kickoff returns.
The spaghetti noodle pass was the only way I could describe that Vince Brown PAT. That was the only thing that it looked like.
Yeah, Lowe just able to get rid of it. And he's going to need an ice pack after this one. Nice bath, I
give
should
that
say.
guy a nice truck. And Kaler's managed to shake off some things. He got hurt in the first play of the game. He had one other one late in the second quarter, but he's been a tough nugget out there as well. And done a nice job. There he is under pressure. Gets rid of this one. Ooh, knocked down. Swatting that one away. In there, making the play on that one was Jaleel Holmes. We haven't said his name too much from Morehead State, but a nice job getting a paw on it.
Yeah, just great reflexes and instincts in getting in the passing lane. And on that one, he had an open receiver too with Butler. Could have picked up a few yards.
Jaleel Holmes, Morehead State from Reno, California. Nice job on some plays there. Didn't have too many blocks in high school, but had a lot of tackles. 224 tackles in college, and 83 of those being solos. Khalid has plenty of time to get rid of the ball. Ooh, we have a penalty flag. Finally dishes it off up the middle. Gives this one to Skarmas, but...
Yeah, very clear holding penalty on Thaddeus Tolliver. Grabbed his man and threw him on the ground.
That's what they call a no. Tolliver goes over and gets to talk to his coach. His coach totally agrees with the referee and says, yep. So watch this. Here is Tolliver. You can see it at the middle of your screen right there, holding on, and you can't do that, trying to knock down Isaiah Nixon. That's a no-no. So again, another penalty here by Eau Claire. I hate to sound like a broken record, but
yeah, it's
been their bugaboo.
Has been a huge factor in the games we've watched so far, but it's been huge in this one.
I've had 15 penalties on the night so far for Eau Claire officially. Gilead gets that one off. Is that going to be a catch? Did he scoop it off the ground? It looks like a catch to me. It was pretty. If it was, Nagby got a hand just underneath it. I think they are going to rule the catch. That was a tough play. Nagby was kind of falling down, and he grabbed that thing just barely before it got to the ground. Sequoia Nagby. It's a fun name to say.
Yeah.
Timeout going to be called here. Oh no, it's the end of the third quarter. We go to the end of the third quarter, and Siege lead this one 49-19. A big third quarter. You look at halftime, and Nebraska has put up 30. Yeah, it was. Let's see. It was at the half. It was 36-13, and so. We're going to look at this last play one more time here again, Luke, and we're going to see if he actually did catch that ball. Because it was questionable. 49-19, though, the score. You have a touchdown from Davis. You have a touchdown from Kevin Brown in this one. They did get the PAT. The third quarter can easily be won by Nebraska Siege. You can say that.
Yeah, they've really stepped the pedal on the metal ever since that end of the first quarter, and they've not looked back. Already put up 9 touchdowns in this one, and they could be up by way more if they could convert on their extra point opportunities. But that's another story for another day. Davis and Yates both have 3 touchdowns apiece. Brown has 2, and Davis came into this game with 5 receptions I had him down for, and he has 6 in this game alone. So he's had more receptions in this game through 3 quarters than he has all season. More touchdowns also with 3 touchdowns. He had 2 coming into the game. He's been a huge factor in this one, and it just goes to show it's impossible to know who the Siege are going to throw to in these games because they have Yates, Brown, and Davis, Mosey. The list just goes on and on. There's no singular player that
they are going to say that
is
is incomplete. I was curious, and it is ruled incomplete by the official, so that would be a no catch. So the scoring at the end of the first quarter was Eau Claire was leading 13-12. At the half, it was Siege 26-13. Siege come out and put up another 13 this quarter, lead 49-13. And so you're running out of time here if you're Eau Claire to get something on the board. You're down by 30 points. So you need to do something offensively big time, or defensively to create offense too.
Yeah, not much of a chance to get back into this one. They need 5 touchdowns without any extra points, but another important thing to consider is this could be a chance for them to get some momentum going for the future games. They're 0-2. If this game continues as it is going, they're going to fall to 0-3, but they're going to have to find something going into next week. If they can come up with some kind of positive note for this fourth quarter that they can go with, that'll be very important for them.
Yeah, and look at the scoring, the wins this year for the Siege. I'm not saying they've won this one. It's still fourth quarter, but, the week 1, they beat the Memphis Hound Dogs 52-18. Last week against Green Hex 44-30. So it's an overturn. It was an incomplete pass. That's what I was talking about. It was very close to the ground. If he did catch it, he didn't. So it ends up being 4th down now. And Eau Claire, you got to go for it now if you're the Axemen. I mean, you're down by 30. You're not going to get anything by giving them the ball.
Also important to remember, if they can somehow convert this and score, you can also do similar to an onside kick situation where you take over the ball in a 4th and 20 situation from your own 5. That could be something that they go to later in the game. But here, 3rd and long, as we stand as another stoppage.
With the clock. I think they're going to restart the clock, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think it started at the right time to begin with. I'm going to run over and look at the replay there, but I think this is a clock issue. See, Eau Claire just needs a really big play. They just need some kind of momentum to get something going on this. That third quarter was just a huge battle there for the Siege. For me, it comes back to second quarter. I mean, you had so many penalties and so many capitalized opportunities for Nebraska to break this thing open a little bit. And then when you come out and score unanswered 13 points in the third quarter, if you're Nebraska, you can't get too comfortable. You can't get lax. This is indoor football. A lot of things can happen. Malik Gaylord back, hits the ball, runs into the end zone. Can't get rid of it. Fumbles the ball. That's going to be a fumble, folks. And picked up by the Siege in the end zone. Wow, it has been that kind of night for Eau Claire. I feel bad for Gilead. He's looking to get anybody. He took a hit big time.
Yeah, they're a four-man pressure. They ran.
Sort of knocked it away.
They ran A-gap on both sides. Really good blitz design there for the Siege as they had Serta and Nixon coming in, and then Thaddeus Young had to choose between one of them, which one he's going to block. Thaddeus Tolliver, that is, and can't block two guys, and there they both ended up coming through.
So you get the touchback for 6 on that one, and that was Nixon. And Oliver trying to plead his case too. He's talking to the Siege bench. Some talking going back and forth here.
He's had a rough time out there. I mean, getting thrown into the fire against a defense like this, it's not going to go well for anybody with as little prep as he had.
But Serta set that one up by knocking it loose on the tackle. Not only making the tackle, Nixon picked it up for the touchdown. So now Lowe going for the extra point, and it's going to be picked off the other way this time, and giving up there, surrendering after catching it is Murray, but no good on the point after. But, boy, defense creating offense again, and it's been that kind of night. If you're Nebraska Siege and if you're Eau Claire, it's going to be, there's a penalty on the flag, and this is going against Eau Claire. You got to keep your mouth shut on this one. They threw the ball in the air, first of all, and then they've been saying stuff to the referee. This might go on Murray.
Yeah, Murray's just losing his head there. After he intercepted the ball, he threw it up in the air and shot it. And now he's really losing his head.
Joshua Murray's still not... say taunting on Murray. So again, force it after the throw off, but and that's just not smart. I mean, you're down. Yes, you're down, but it's bad sportsmanship. You take the ball, throw it in the air, and then you're gun flapping to the referee all the way back. We've seen the referees have not taken much guff here in this game, and you're not helping your case right now.
Yeah, just really losing their head. I think he knows in this situation not much of a chance for a comeback, as already with 14:30 left. Not much of a chance in this one, but I mentioned earlier, it's important for them to get momentum going into the next few weeks because they don't want to happen in the season like last year. They were last in the league at 1-7, and this is just going to keep happening if they can't figure out some sort of way to limit the penalties, limit the turnovers, and actually put together solid drives offensively. They just haven't been able to get anything going. And then offensively, I mean, this is just what the Siege do to teams. When they have the ball for this long and they dominate the time of possession this much, it's just what's going to happen.
That one thrown in the end zone, going to bounce out of bounds, and so the ball will be good field position actually here for Eau Claire.
Some excited fans over there that go to the end zone to get
that
the ball.
That kid's jacked for the ball. He's got bragging rights. Oh, no, he acted like he was going to throw it back. Oh, too bad. So you look at next week's schedule here for week 4, and as we mentioned, Siege go back on the road. It's a very tough St. Joe. That's going to be a really good game in Missouri. You have Eau Claire at home hosting Iowa's having a rough year. Ozarks will be at Arkansas, and you're going to have Monroe at Memphis on the Arena League football. You can watch all those games on the YouTube channel. You can flip back and forth like I did last week. I was on vacation, but I was still flipping back and forth.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that next week. With the league being in divisions, the Goats and these two teams and the Woo all on the same side, there's going to be some interesting matchups with potentially the two best teams and potentially the two worst teams if the season keeps going as it has.
Back to throw, puts this one up, and no good. Intended this time for Joyce, who did have a catch in the first half.
We're going to have pass interference in this one, Josh, as Holmes just got a little too handy trying to break that pass up.
So you look at the division here. Goats come in 2-0 to tonight. Siege come in 2-0. Axemen were 0-2 and Iowa 0-2. So you're going to have two undefeated teams if St. Joseph wins tonight against two teams that possibly haven't won a game yet. So a little bit more even. That's in the North Division. The South Division, you have Memphis leading 1-1. Monroe Greenheads 1-1 on the season. You also have Lunkers 1-1 and Arkansas Diamonds 1-1. So a very even match there on the South Division.
Yeah, tale of two divisions as like I mentioned earlier, probably if things keep going as they will, it's going to be the two best teams and the two worst teams on the same side, and the other side will be an even matchup where probably you'll have a lot of similar records.
Third penalty of the half here for the Siege. That's a low snaps again. Gaylord airs it out. Hail Mary all the way down to Butler, who couldn't quite make the catch. That hit off of Yates' back, I think. Otherwise, he would have made that catch.
Yeah, and Butler, I think one of the pass interference call, a little bit on the edge, but that's just a really long throw for Gaylord to make it. He put it in a pretty good spot, but pretty good coverage by the Siege.
He's got a pretty good arm. You know, as they say as a receiver, keep yourself between the ball and the receiver, and he didn't. He let the defender get in between him and the ball, and he didn't make the catch. Honestly, I thought when that left the hand, the Gaylord was going to throw it way out of bounds, but it ended up being a pretty good throw.
Yeah.
Just wasn't caught.
Interesting to see Kevin Davis out there, too, for the Siege. He doesn't usually play defense, but I think they know that the Axemen are going to have to throw it deep down the field, and they like having his speed out there on the edge.
Gray again playing defense. He's working his way into the crowd. Can't get it. Gaillard throws it up the middle. Gets off a quick little screen pass to Sandifer. And should be pretty close to a first down. Going to be a little shy. So that one, give it about 8 yards.
There you had Hampton in the game, too, defensively.
Yeah, you've seen a lot
It's really
of
impressive to
guys.
see all these guys playing both sides of the ball for the Siege. Got Butler on Simons on the bottom of the screen. It'll be interesting to see if that's where they go.
Rolling, back up the middle, wide open is Butler to the 20, the 25, and we'll run out of bounds there about the 22-yard line. A nice little play, good for the first down and some extra cheese.
They do go to Butler there, and just kind of a soft zone coverage by the Siege. They don't want anything deep down the field being up this much. They're going to allow that all day as long as they don't give anything up too fast. They got to let Eau Claire burn some clock.
So now ball sitting on the 23-yard line, call it. Under 12 minutes left. Siege, been all Siege here in the second half. Butler in motion. Gaylord back to throw it. He's got Gray coming at him. In the end zone, throws it up, and it's nobody's ball. And boy, in and out of the hands there. It was Cunningham almost had an interception.
Yeah, almost his second of the game there. Really good coverage down the field, and he's been arguably their best coverage guy all year. He does a great job playing the ball in the air.
Look at Isaiah Gray get in there on that defense. I mean, this is the guy that's been playing running back the entire season. He's in there, and he almost got a sack. Well, swatted that one away. You know, he's 5'8". If he was about 5'11", he might have got a finger on that one. He's been playing a really good defense tonight on the left side. So now you're going to have second down here. Malik Gaylord looking to throw it to anybody at all across the way. Butler's open, jumps in the air, catches it about the 2-yard line and brings it down. He was waiting for Butler to get open, shaked his defender, Yates, and got it for the first down and close to the red zone. Now this is where they need to capitalize. They have not been able to all year long.
Yeah, and that's just Yates again letting a guy get behind him. I think he sort of fell asleep on the backside when Gaylord rolled out to his right. He didn't think he was going to throw it all the way back across the field and then kind of got caught sleeping. Completion to Butler on the other side.
So trying to get in the end zone here for the first time in the second half. They go to hand it off and nothing doing there. Went Gaylord, and that one went to Magby, and they read that play perfectly. And the sack lost some yards on the play.
Yeah, huge TFL for Jaleel Holmes there as they lose a lot of yards. And we mentioned coming into this game 1 for 8 in the red zone. That's worst in the league by efficiency. If they don't punch this one in, they're going to have some serious questions they need to answer this week.
Holmes came across the field from that right side and run up the middle to read that play perfectly. So now second down, going to try it again. Magby up the middle, and it goes to, nope, can't get that one over, right in and out of the hands of Eldridge Joyce. He was the one that was open.
There's Holmes again in coverage. We didn't say his name much in the first half, but he has been all over the field in the second half, making tackles, making plays in coverage on these tight ends. He's played really well in the second half.
It's fun to see the kids get the ball, too. They get to keep the ball. what a great experience. Arena League football. So ball at the line here. Everybody's striped up. Butler in motion. Third down here. Malik Gaylord trying to get rid of this one. Senga on him. And there's going to be a Serta on him. He gets it in there for the touchdown. Butler in the back of the end zone. Nice play.
So positive for the Axemen to take away as they are able to score in the red zone. And then that's just a long time for somebody to be in coverage. And Simons just got lost a little bit. I don't know what coverage they were in for sure there, but somebody lost Butler, and that's not the guy you want to lose in the red zone.
So Butler, it's only second touchdown of the game for him. He had one right before the end of the first quarter and hasn't scored anything since. They've only had one touchdown since then. That was with 2:20 left in the third quarter. So a much-needed scoring drought ended there. Again, a muff snap. He was not ready. Ball rolls to the 20. Gilliard gets out of it again and throws across the diamond and not able to complete the point after. Boy, again a muff snap on that one, and again, lack of communication. That's the third or fourth time that's happened.
Yeah, and you see Gaylord just a little frustrated after that one, and same thing with Thaddeus Tolliver. Just a rough time by those guys, as they haven't been on the same page all night.
55-25 our score here, and it's good to see Eau Claire get in the end zone, get a little bit of positive there, but got a ways to go, and you're running out of time with less than 9 minutes left. You know, this time 2 weeks ago, Luke, we were off the air.
Yeah.
The Memphis player ran into the wall and took out our sound gear on the floor, so we were spectators from there on out. Tonight we're up on the concourse, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Better vantage point, a little bit less exciting.
The funny part of that play, too, now we were talking about this off the air. You go back to that Memphis game, is 2 plays before that. I went back and watched the replay. You go, we really haven't had much action down here. They run a play to zero, and then they run a play again to zero, and he takes out our sound and almost takes us out.
That's a big dude, too.
That was a lot of beef coming at us. And he made the catch, too. It was an unbelievable catch, one-handed catch.
So here you have that onside equivalent opportunity where they have to get the ball. I believe it's to the 25 here. It's 4th and 25. And since there's no kickoffs, you can't run an onside, so this is sort of their equivalent of that in the Arena League.
So, yeah, you start with the ball here, and like you said, you got to do it with your legs. Or you can pass, I guess, but Hilliard gives this one over. Nice little shovel pass out to Joyce, and he gets just shy of the 25. He gets laid out, though. Serta says, boom. I hang my clothes on the clothesline. So I don't think they did it. So good possession here for the Siege. Siege will get the first down here.
So now they got to take over where Eau Claire left them off. So good field position for Nebraska.
I'm going to take a look at some of the other scores here and see if I can find what's going on here in the Arena Football League around the area.
Yeah, we had Angelo Trujillo featured at halftime as our player of the week. He is a really good quarterback for the Goats next week that they'll have to wait for, as they are up big on the Woo right now.
56-16 as that throw goes errant. And wow, where'd the player go? There he is.
So Davis was wide open down the field. A lot happened on that play. First, you had Davis wide open. Then you had Lowe overthrowing him and Davis going over the wall. And then you had a fan losing his beverage onto the field. So a lot to analyze here as you see the replay. Bang!
Whoa,
beverage over the edge.
He had a party foul going on there when he spilled the beverage.
Yeah, I can't set it on the wall there. It's not safe.
So now, try to do again here if you're the Siege. Lowe receives the ball about the 20. Scrambles, and he's going to be eat up. Helmet comes off of Lowe, and he hits the ground without a helmet. We've seen a lot of helmets come off tonight on both sides of the ball. This could be a penalty. That's the one the referee talked to us about before the game.
Yeah, so now Lowe will come off the field for a play. So Yates, I believe, will come in at quarterback. That's who he came in to run an extra point earlier in the game. So we'll see what they get dialed up for him in 3rd and long.
7 guys out there, so yeah, Yates is going to be the quarterback on this one. If your helmet comes off, you have to come off for a play. That's the new rule. The White Hat came up and officially told us about it. And that play just started this week, I believe.
Yeah, I think Richie Murphy from the Axemen was a big reason that happened, as his helmet was popping off all the time last week.
Songy Yates in trouble, scrambles, and loses his footing. Rumbles back the other way, still looking for a receiver. Out to the 10, throws it out, has a man open to Vince Brown to the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10.
Oh, wow.
Dogs a tackle into the 5 and back steps into the end zone, touchdown. Wow, Vince Brown almost lost it at the end zone, but gets in. What a wacky play.
What a play by Songy Yates in the backfield.
Holy moly.
He probably ran about 50 yards in the backfield, just scrambling, trying to find something, as he came all the way around to his right and then came all the way back around the other field. And then one pass attempt registered in the stats, and it's a touchdown pass to Vince Brown. I don't know how he stayed on his feet.
Yeah, he went to the 20, he slipped, stayed up, got out to the 15, still waited for us. Brown says, hey, I'm over here doing jumping jacks. Vince Brown gets to the 5, spins past, literally does a 360, passes defender, gets to the 2-yard line, high steps backwards into the end zone.
A little showmanship there, too, waving before he was into the end zone.
Songy Yates throwing his first touchdown of the season. Have a flag in the play. It's going to be a delay game probably on Nebraska here. So, yeah, last check here, St. Joe was up 56-16 in that game. I think that game's over now. They had 30 seconds left. So St. Joe will move on to 3-0 and face Siege unless something dramatic happens here. 3-0 as well.
Yeah, now this is kind of an interesting factor, as Songy Yates, maybe they use him a little bit more as a wildcat type of quarterback option going on as the season goes on.
Yates throws it back out to Vince Brown. This time it's a high one out to the 15. Ooh, he is clobbered.
Wow.
What a tackle there by Murray. He says high step this and lays him out at the legs.
That was a collision.
That was a big hit there by Murray, and Vince is slow to get up.
And I think the Axemen a little bit frustrated with Vince Brown, as he's been involved in a lot of jawing tonight and a lot of showmanship, as I mentioned earlier, and maybe taking out a little bit of frustration on him there with the hit.
Well, we saw Murray got a flag earlier for flapping his gums, and so he was still a little angry, I think, about that, and lays it out. So, yeah, obviously Iowa Woo lost to St. Joseph, so the Woo will be 0-3. It looks like the Eau Claire will be 0-3. Those two will take on each other next week in Wisconsin, and then the Siege will travel down to Missouri to take on the St. Joseph Goats. That's going to be probably the game of the week to watch. Two undefeated teams, 3-0 in the league, taking on each other. Somebody's got to come away with the W on that one.
Yeah, I would certainly imagine we'll have that one featured next week, but that's going to be fun to watch, Josh.
I thought about making that road trip, but I have to DJ a wedding next weekend at this time. So otherwise, I would make the trip down there. I have an aunt that lives in St. Joe. I could just stay there. Not going to happen, but I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. Yates throws this one off. And receiving it is Magby. He'll run it up to about the 12-yard line, and that's where that one will stop. 5:55 left in this one. It's been all Siege, Josh Salmon, and Luke McCarg along with you. And the first quarter was a back-and-forth battle. We thought, okay, we're going to get ourselves a good game. But that second quarter, Siege do what Siege does and broke things out, got things going. You got battled back a little bit here in the fourth quarter, but a little too late there by Eau Claire. We still have 6 minutes left in this game, so right now you just got to play hold mode if you're the Axemen.
And the Siege have been experimenting a little bit on defense, trying some different things. Usually Jihad McCall plays that free safety in the middle of the field. They've moved Cunningham back to that spot and been using their different combinations of receivers on the other corner spot where he usually plays.
Good receiver, good pass out to Sandifer, good for a first down. Receives that one about the 24-yard line. Excuse me, the 21-yard line.
There you see Yates again exploited in coverage. It's not his primary position. He was a wide receiver in college. He's primarily a wide receiver for the Siege, but overall he's played pretty well on the edge.
Ball about the 23-yard line right now. Hilliard back to throw. He shakes his defender. Oh, has another one though. Hampton pushes him back. So he shakes off Nixon, and Hampton says, hello, remember me?
Yeah, there was a lot of bogeys to deal with there, as initially Simons came through the line, which flushed him out, and then you had Nixon, who just missed a tackle, and then Hampton finishes it off.
I like the Top Gun reference there with the bogeys. Very nice. was one of my favorite movies as a kid. So now it's second down here. Ball on the 17-yard line. And Malik Gilliard trying to get something going. Rolled snap. He picks it up. He's been able to do so much with bad snaps. Throws it downfield, intended for Butler, and it's a little short. Again, another bad snap and a flag on the play on this one. This was after the ball was thrown. Let's see what happens here.
You might have roughing the passer. It's been a nightmarish day for Malik Gilliard. Not really because of his play, but just around him. He's been under duress all day. His team isn't helping him out at all. Okay, so illegal block. You're going to have kind of the equivalent of like a flipping or a chop block in 11-man football, just hitting him below the waist.
Over 20 straight off the line. Over 20 penalties in this game. I haven't seen this much laundry on the floor since I was a high school guy. What's my bedroom room look like? Man, there's a lot of flags tonight. Now it's a low snap again. Gilliard gets it, airs it out, going for the man in the end zone and overthrows intended receiver Brandon Sandifer. That one goes up on the stage. The band played earlier. So we're here at the Harlan Event Center, about a month away from the Hall County Fair going on. Kids showing their animals and stuff, and about 2 months away from the Nebraska State Fair, which brings tons of people in from all over. Right here on the fairgrounds. Lots of buildings, lots of things happening.
Were you showing the fair in your youth, Josh?
I never did. I grew up in California, so we didn't have that thing. When I got here to high school, I didn't know anything about showing animals. I didn't have any pets. I think it's cool that kids do that. I like to see the little tiny girls pulling those big pigs around.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Throw up in the air. And ooh, almost a late hit there by Hampton. The ball was intended for Magby. His defender got in front of him. 3 minutes left on this one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they go for it. I think they're just gonna fold here.
We might see some new personnel coming out here for Eau Claire, and that's exactly what we're going to see here. Get out the roster card. A couple new guys making their way out. Not all of them, but a few of them. And we really haven't said Anthony Sanders' name too much.
Yeah, they kind of took him out of the game after he got burned a few times in coverage, and it's the same thing happened last week. He got matched up with Dilworth and kind of got exploited from the diamonds. He's a really good receiver out there over in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
St. Joseph won again tonight over Iowa by a large margin. So Iowa will go to 0-3 and travel to Wisconsin next week. And St. Joseph's is going to be offsides here. St. Joseph's will host the Siege on the road. 2-3-0 teams. No timeout call. I thought it was going to be an offsides, but.
So they sent Yates back out there to play quarterback. I wonder if maybe this is more of just protecting Caleb Lowe. I think he's all right. He's been banged up a little bit today. I think this is more of just trying to make sure nothing happens to him as they have a big game next week. And Yates, obviously, you want to protect him too, but with his mobility, he should be able to stay off the turf pretty well back there.
Yeah, Caleb Lowe coming out here without a helmet on. He just wanted to contribute and say, Yates, this is your game, bud. Take it from here. And he comes back over to the sidelines.
And potentially unlocking something here, too. As I mentioned earlier, maybe a wildcat sort of situation that they want to use a little bit. Package where maybe you just let him run around and see what happens. He also does the throw-offs for the Siege, so we know he has an arm.
Well, and I like what all game long we've talked about what the Siege have done. Defensively, lining different guys in different positions. That gives you more options when you get into St. Joe next week, and I think that's what they're trying to do. This one cuts back. Mosey gets down to the 3-yard line, a nice little play. So, again, you go back to the Siege just mixing people up on different positions, and, you're not so one-dimensional now. You've got guys in different places, and so when the St. Joseph Goats go to watch the film of this for next week, they're going to, wait a minute, this guy lined up over here, but we saw him here the first 2 weeks. So you're giving yourself a lot of options. I like what Coach Bermonti's doing with his team.
And you can tell Yates has been practicing taking snaps and everything, because that was a sort of speed option type of thing where he shoveled it forward to Mosey, not your baseline quarterback stuff.
Okay, we're going to take a break and come back. Siege leading 61-25. It is a 2-minute warning. You're watching Siege and Axemen football on the American the Arena League football here from the Harlan Event Center, Grand Island, Nebraska. We'll be back. Siege leads 61-25. League football, Josh Hamm and Luke McCarg with you from Grand Island, Nebraska, the Harlan Event Center. It's been all Siege here in the pretty much from the second quarter on, leading 61-25. And Luke, this one you still got 2 minutes left here. If you're Eau Claire, you just got to kind of regroup and go back and watch some film. A lot of penalties. You've been kind of your own worst enemy.
Yeah, I think there's a few positive things early on in the game that they can look back on that they did well, and try to figure out how you can channel that in next week going into the Woo, because that's a big matchup. Two teams that are going to be winless going into that game, and an opportunity for one of them to get their first win, and the other one never want to start 0-4. That's not a way you want to start an 8-game season, and it'll be tough to overcome that in the standings, especially when you're going to have one team at least that will be 4-0 going into the year. That's a lot of ground you have to make up if you want to be an arena mania at the end of the year.
Well, Malik Gilliard has done a nice job at quarterback. I mean, they've had 6 or 7 snaps that have been errant. He's picked it up. He's turned nothing into something in yards. Just a really good job back there. He just doesn't have a whole lot of time to get rid of the ball sometimes, or he just doesn't have a guy that's open. And so I think he's a good quarterback. I think for me it just comes back to some fundamentals. You got a new guy under center. That's been part of the snap problems. You've had some penalties, just some housekeeping stuff, some house cleaning stuff you got to do and go into it. When you approach that Iowa team like they're 3-0. You don't want to say, hey, oh, they're 0-3, we're 0-3. You take them in there like they're undefeated, and that's how you want to take that attitude if you're Eau Claire next week. And I'm sure that's what they're going to discuss on the bus ride home.
Yeah, and also important to remember, these teams are going to face off again later in the season. They're on the same side of the league, so all those teams play each other twice. So the Axemen, the Woo, the Goats, and the Siege will all play each other twice. So you're going to have to watch back this film and see what you're going to do next time when you play the Siege as well. But as you mentioned with Gilliard, I actually think this is the best game he's played all year. He had some interception trouble in the first game against Ozarks Lunkers, and then in last week against Arkansas, just really low completion percentage, couldn't connect and throw the ball accurately. He's done a nice job when he's had time and when he's been put in positions to succeed. He's been in really bad positions all night.
Yeah, July 11th, they'll meet up next time in Wisconsin, these two teams. 2 minutes left in this one, 61-25. Siege trying to get something more in. Yates is a quarterback. Shovel passes it to Mosey. He's close to the end zone. No official word. I think he got a little shy. He's smacked in there by a couple of Eau Claire players. Eau Claire, and making the tackle there, making the stop was Yaffe Harvey. Yep, he's a little shy of the
Could be interesting to see if they let Yates air it out. Normally, he's the one they go to in these situations.
Right.
He's tied for the team lead in touchdowns coming into the game with 4, and he's had 3 today as well. But now he can't obviously throw the ball to himself, so Brown maybe would be.
You've got Gray lined up on the right
here.
side. Let's see if they go that way. Yates going to toss it over, and he goes up top and gives this one in, and it is David Brown.
If he has the ball, it's a catch.
David Brown catches it, and he's in. Got some major air there. Oh, and a good ball spin.
So his first reception with the Siege is a touchdown. David Brown did not play in the first 3 games for the Siege, had some injuries, and then there comes away with the ball, going over the wall. Door hit him. And if you hold on to the ball, as long as you touch the wall, it's a completion. You don't have to have feet on the ground. You just have to maintain possession as you go over the wall. If you make contact with it, it's a catch.
David Brown went to Dean College, did play Arena League football on the IFL for New Mexico, so has some experience there. In that time, he did have 3 touchdowns. Extra point is good, and getting that one down.
Jaleel Holmes getting in on the action on offense.
Nice job on the touchdown, and Yates is coming and throwing 2 touchdowns on this game.
Holmes primarily a defensive player, usually in that linebacker. LA coming away with the extra point.
So, I mean, right away, the 2-minute warning, Siege come out fired up just like they have been. It was Yates this time. Get the extra point the second time, and it makes it 68-25 now. 1:47 left in this game. We'll look around the league here and see if we can get some other scores for you as well as some of the other games are wrapping up. You have Memphis at Ozarks, and I like the Lunker logo. It's kind of cool. It's a fish with a helmet. I think that's a fun one.
Yeah, really cool by the Arena League incorporating the cultures of the areas into their mascots.
It looks like Hound Dogs are leading this one by 4 with 45 seconds left. Hound Dogs up 40-36 at the Lunker, so that one could be an interesting game as well. As we said, what else? Arkansas is at Monroe on this one. Monroe, one of the expansion teams this year in the league. Butler takes that one up to the 15 to the 20, runs out about the 21. Arkansas leading as well at Monroe, 45-37.
Arkansas team that was in Arena Mania last year put up a good season as the Hot Springs Wise Guys was their mascot, rebranded the Arkansas Diamonds this year. Back to this game, though, the Siege have put up a season high in points with 68. They scored 52 week 1 against the Hound Dogs, 44 against the Greenheads, and then topping that by a good margin today. And then if they can hold the Axemen scoreless on out, 25 would be right in the middle of their first 2 games.
If it stands, I know that Memphis is only 4 points up, but if it stands and Memphis wins that game, the Siege will be the only home team that won tonight. Back up the middle, that's going to be offsides. Butler ran upside, picked off anyways by the Siege, but I think we're going to have an offsides penalty called first.
Nice job by Isaiah Nixon getting in the passing lane there, just dropped. He's usually getting after the passer, rushing, but that time dropped into coverage, into a flats area as you typically would an outside linebacker in a 11-man situation, and they'll decline the penalty and take the ball out.
Yeah, Butler was way over the line, but they said, we don't care, we'll take the penalty, and this is just operation where the clock down now. 68-25. And you can see the Axemen coming off and looking straight down at the field. They're very disappointed with their outcome on this game. They like the way they started, and like you said, there's some positives. You look at the season, you're up 68-25, but there's been some dumb penalties on them tonight. There's been some plays that haven't been executed very well.
Yeah, going into next week, they really need to shore up their secondary. They can't allow the long touchdowns anymore. They've done it in all 3 games. At least 2 long passes for touchdowns, and Angelo Trujillo's going to pick that defense apart if they can't figure out how to eliminate the blown coverages next week.
Yates again, the quarterback. High snap, goes right to Mosey. He runs over and grabs it out of his hands, up to the 7, to the 8, back to the 10-yard line. I don't think that's how that play was drawn up.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was designed direct snap. Just a little bit off with the timing. As is understandable with Yates being a new quarterback, doesn't quite have the motion timing down, and not a quarterback in college either. Yates was a receiver at Lenore-Rhine, top 10 in school history in touchdowns with 18. But doing a nice job at quarterback right now in a new role.
I get a quarter every time you say his name tonight. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. It's in your contract. Yeah, Songa Yates, as you said, over 2,000 yards. Hails from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's a unique thing about the Siege. Most of the teams pull in a lot of local guys to play for them. These Siege guys are all from all over the country. Connor Board, the only Nebraska player from Henderson, Nebraska, played at Morningside. The rest of them from all around the country.
Henderson about 40 minutes down the road. The Lunkers did just score at home, so they're up now on Memphis. But that game had about 25 seconds left, and they got a touchdown in on a great play there. So Lunkers may pull this one out yet. Nip and tuck game there in the Ozarks. I'd like to go to the Ozarks sometime. I think that'd be kind of fun. And that's going to do it. Siege win this one 68-25 is the final. And it has been all Nebraska Siege in this one. As you know, you look back to the first quarter and you start the scoring drive and it kind of went back and forth. And then really that second quarter, Siege has found a way to break through. You get too many penalties by the Axemen. Third quarter, Siege only wants to score. And so we'll take a break here and come back and have your post game. 68-25, Nebraska leads this one here. It is the Arena League football from Grand Island, Nebraska. And we'll take a break here in just a little bit and come back and take a look at some of these touchdown drives and get our keys to the game on this one. Arena League football, we'll look at some of the other scores in the area as well, as the Lunkers are still leading at their game. Arena League football, we'll be back post game here as Siege take the win 68-25. Welcome back to Grand Island, Nebraska. Siege pulled this one off, 68-25. It was pretty much dominant from the beginning of the second quarter, as just got a lot of things out there. Josh Salmon, Luke McHarg back with you, and it was just a lot of positive on the Sieges and a lot of penalties hurting the Axemen tonight.
Yeah, really that was it. They never were able to establish any rhythm on offense, they being Eau Claire. After the first quarter, they had those long touchdown passes where the Siege were just completely lost in coverage on the back end. But then after that, every drive, it was either killed by turnovers or by penalties. And that was really the difference in the game. There was just no momentum on the other side. And then because they had so many quick 3-and-outs and drives that were obviously killed by penalties, the Siege dominated the ball and then pretty much cashed in every opportunity that the Axemen gave them.
Yeah, the 18 penalties there by the Axemen. I mean, and 75 yards given up. You're not going to win a ball game when you do that. And you had 20 penalty yards by the Siege, which is 6 penalties, which is kind of high for them as well. 3 sacks against the Siege, so there's a feather in the cap there for the Axemen. But you had 9 turnovers. You did have 10 first downs, which is a good thing. But again, the penalties coming back to hurt you. I think Gilead did a great job as a Gilead, did a nice job as a quarterback. Made some unbelievable throws. Butler was a fun, exciting guy to watch, but they just had some miscommunication, muff snaps, and just a lot of things that didn't quite go in their way, some unsportsmanlike plays. And so, and I like what the Siege did. We talked about it. They mixed up some players, different positions, gives you a lot of options going into next week to see undefeated St. Joe.
Yeah. The good news for the Axemen is they have players. They have playmakers and athletic guys in Butler and Murray on offense. Now they just got to find ways to get them the ball, clean up the penalties, give them different opportunities to make plays with the balls in their hand. Defensively, same thing. They've got dudes. They've got Bohr, man. Different players that can make plays in big moments, but just need to find a way to clear it up.
There's one of the touchdowns to Yates to begin the game, and it was just off to the races for him. He came back as quarterback. There's coaches talking about things here as you have Vermonte talking his things over there with his guys. And, for the Axemen, Coach Britton, we didn't say much about him, but he was an assistant coach for 45 years, now the head coach, taking over the reins of the Axemen this year. He was very excited about it and did a PE teacher for a long time. So fun to see here, but just a lot of positives here for the hometown fans. There's another great pass into Yates for his second touchdown of the night for the Siege. And you can kind of see the frustration for the Axemen there. So we appreciate everybody tuning in on your Saturday night. Once again, Siege win this one 68-25. They will take on undefeated St. Joe in St. Joe next week. And we'll sign off. Josh Sam and Luke McCarg. It's Arena League football on your Saturday. God bless. We'll see you next time on the Arena League. Good night.